right, welcome to the Reflections of a DJ Road podcast. It's Saturday, February 24.
Yep.
All right, and we got a special guest here, along with me, DJ Crooked, D Miles, and Jamie the Great.
Yo.
We got my man, Thre3style Champion. 2012, one half of 2 cents.
So we had the 1 cent.
Yeah.
Just
also retail entrepreneur in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
There we go. Mr. Color Zack in the building.
Yeah, clap it up.
It's good, man. Thank you for coming through.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no doubt. We're missing DJ Never. He's in New York for his mom's birthday.
Shout out to moms.
And he's not going to be here, so we're going to try to hold it down without him. But
we also
the OG boys. Comments will be in miss today.
So Zach, you in town for Tao, right?
Yep, I'm playing Tao tonight.
You've been at that residency for a minute.
Kinda, yeah. Vice brought me out during one of the EDCs, just as like a special set or whatever, and it went good enough that I think Omar got in my ear or something and brought me back, and then it went good from there.
Yeah, Omar was the music director at the time.
Yes.
So is that your first Vegas?
No, I was doing what's the name of that spot in Cosmopolitan? The little bar thing. You know that little
Bond?
Yeah, Bond.
Wow.
I did that for a minute, but I did that because they brought me and my homie out, so we just hang out together and just get fucked up.
Spot was actually popping though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You did it for us, right?
When Cosmopolitan first opened, and they were trying to make that bar, that it was like a casino bar. They were trying to make it real dope.
Yeah.
Or they were just trying to make it real hip. They were booking like DJs.
It was fun. We'd get away with a lot of stuff there too.
Yeah, I mean they would have crazy overflow from people that couldn't get in the marquee or people that didn't even want the club vibe. Yeah. It was dope.
It was always packed. We do like 2 nights in a row kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big kind of a turn over there from that into Tao.
Yeah. Well, I mean, realistically, if it was fun to do that, but it was like they're wild different. Like didn't give me any like warm up to what was about to happen with Tao.
So I mean, let's talk about that transition. You know what I mean? Doing the first the first time you did Tao, you're headlining and shit. They're like, you got to, you're coming on. What time do you start at? Like 12:30.
12:31. Yeah.
12:31. They got like dances, like ballerina dances, and like Cirque du Soleil shit coming out. They have like cryo. They have like confetti.
Yeah, they do the whole like
they
first
do the
20
whole
minute
shit,
type of thing.
Yeah. And it's like the typical Vegas headlining thing. And then I remember when I was at Tao, they wanted like the biggest song. They wanted like high energy for the first 20 minutes. So how was that for you like the first couple of times? I mean, it was
fine. Like they prepped me. That's why they just told me straight out, like, first 20 minutes, just hit them with the biggest house bangers you want. Like, we don't even care what it is, but big, loud spectacle. It's like, been DJing long enough and doing a lot of different parties enough to be fine with that, Yeah. I mean, I've done all sorts of parties. So that was just kind of like, okay, well, 20 minutes in, I get to switch gears a little bit. And it's usually like a hard switch, too. It's like, all right, house party. But
I've always wondered, like, because I know you're part of 2 Cents with Craze, right? And y'all seem to do like more festivals. Am I wrong?
I don't know. It's hard to say because we kind of we're really just starting to go out and do shows together. I mean, we've done shows together.
How did that shit
for a long
start?
time.
You and Craze. What was that?
I've heard of him before, and I was in I think it started because I was playing this night at what's it called? Some discotheque party in Miami. Damn it, what's the name of that spot? I'll remember it. Anyway, it was like a all kind of like disco house night, right? And so you would not play rap there. You wouldn't deviate. You just kind of stick to like up tempo, vibey stuff. And so I'm in there. He came through. He'd come to a couple other shows, so he'd seen me play before. But then he was watching me play that, which is wild different than what I would normally do. And I was still doing tricks and still keeping the thing moving and flexing without fucking shit up. And then he was feeling spirited enough to be like, let's make the greatest mixtape of all time. Of all time. Like,
so he was vibing that strong off that shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. And then y'all just linked up?
And I was like, yeah, 100%, let's do it.
So
and then, so I pulled out a notepad that night and was like, we'll put this on there, we'll put this on there.
Wow. And y'all were vibing that hard? Pause.
He tells it a little bit different. He says it's like he already was vibing before he came to that night or whatever. Right. But for me, it was like that was the night where he said, "Yo, let's link up and do something." And you know, we had met before or whatever, but so he had seen me, he'd listened to mixes and like seen me do stuff. But that was when he was like proactive about
the plan was just to make a dope mixtape.
Yeah, we just wanted to, because I mean, for me, it was like I didn't know anybody else making stuff quite like that, putting that much time into mixes. Yeah. And I knew that if anybody could do it, it was going to be him, because I mean, he's capable of literally anything. And so we just started fucking around with ideas, and then the ideas were clicking like fast, and we were sending them back and forth and working on improving them and stuff. And then we realized like, oh shit, this could be like a thing. And so then we just called the mix 2 cents, because it was our 2 cents on whatever the hot takes were at the moment.
And I remember that time, because y'all got 4 CDs now. The first one that came out, it was kind of like, oh shit. I remember like all of us were like kind of talking in our group chat, our DJ group chats, and we're like, yo, I didn't know these dudes were linking up. Yeah. And then we were just like, yo, these dudes are going in on EDM motherfuckers, or like, you know.
Yeah. I think we both felt like we didn't have really anything to lose. Like there's this, we both, like he's got the benefit of simultaneously, he's so super current, but simultaneously a legacy act, you know, because he's been around forever and he's untouchable. He's never going to lose his cred.
All right. So I'm a little embarrassed to say about Craze. I know of him, but I don't know a lot about him. So like, for some reason in my head, I know he was like on the Qbert level, right?
Yeah.
And I know that, but for some reason, in my head, I thought he liked or only preferred to DJ drum and bass for some reason.
Yeah. So
am I off?
No. I mean, So what happens is he comes up. I'll try to give the short version of it, but he came up, started winning all the battles. I'm sure he would correct me on a bunch of stuff. Started winning like everything. Yeah. Has a long history of winning everything, and then he discovered drum and bass, fell in love, like. Played that stuff all over the world, brought it to the U.S. Like literally, he told me a story about how he, you know, basically introduced a lot of the drum and bass dudes to U.S. markets and everything. So it's amazing what he did there. And then it sort of got to the point where he, as he always does, was looking to the future about what the next thing he wanted to do was. And then he started seeing all these other genres, and you know, maybe sometimes to a fault, he has foresight. You know, like when he sees that something's tired to him, he's done. And he goes on to something new. And I don't think that he thought that drum and bass was tired, but he knew that he wanted to get out of there. So then he went from that to like, he pioneered the whole early dubstep thing before it was all headbangers and bros. And then
headbangers and bros.
And then he went from that. Then it was like trap after that, and Moombahton, and like he just went down the line and was always first.
So that's another thing I wanted to ask about you and what you guys do on those mixtapes, because I know that there is like a kind of trap EDM like sound to them, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. I mean,
and that's probably mostly from his side, would you say, or no? It's a combination of both.
Because I came up doing the same type of thing. It's just I wasn't in the public eye for doing it. You know,
just up in Seattle chilling.
Yeah, just posted. Yeah, I mean, like for the longest time, I was doing 5 nights a week, all different type of nights in Seattle. You know, turning down 90% of out of town offers, like for years.
Damn.
Because I just had other stuff going on. I was senior art director at an ad agency. I sold a design agency along with a homie of mine who then moved to New York. So I mean, like I had other stuff going on. It wasn't like a factor for me to want to go travel. But I was doing all this stuff because I loved all this different kind of music. So then when I hit the road, it was only natural to play everything as opposed to just stick with whatever I thought was new. Which worked out well for like the Thre3style stuff. Yeah. Because that sort of became the vibe of that, which is you just play, what's the term? Just have a very open mind, ubiquitously cover everything. So yeah, when he and I linked up, I think of course there was always that let's constantly play what's new, let's play what's next, let's always be on the cutting edge of everything. But I mean, even now we talk about, you know, traps dying, dubstep's doing what it's doing. So, you know, we play what we like, and that happens to be some trap stuff for sure. Right. Happens to be some like what you'd call festival-ish music. But then a lot of stuff we just don't fuck with, so we don't play that stuff.
I always wondered because I always thought like whenever like DJs come out with shit, they or open form, quote unquote open format DJs come out with shit. They come out with like a trap remix or like a pumped up twerk remix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that on some of the last.
I
podcasts.
did.
I do listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
It's hard to listen to you guys right now because I was listening to it on 1.5 speed. So you sound like chopped and screwed to me right now.
So it goes faster.
You do it 1.5. I can't do anything.
I know, who got time for that?
Me, fucker. I listen to all my podcasts on 1, and they're like 3 hours long.
Shit, I never thought to put it on 1.5.
Kind of makes sense.
You can understand everything. I mean, I don't have.
We just
I don't
sound
have
like
the
Alvin and
luxury.
the we sound like Alvin and Chipmunk. So.
Yeah.
Key lock is on.
He's like, y'all are going too slow.
Yeah, no. I mean, I honestly think that you guys could make some original music.
Yeah, we do. We have plenty of stuff. Matter of fact, we have put some of it out.
And that's something that I want to hear more.
Yeah, but I understand.
Than the remixes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that because you mentioned in a couple episodes ago or whatever about why the fuck would these open format guys make. And I do agree. I don't want to ever hear another redrum of anything in my life. Like that was acceptable in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That was tight, whatever.
See, I disagree with that though.
Why? What would you want to hear a redrum of?
I just think a lot of the songs now need drums.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, give me an example of a current song that would ever need just a redrum, not a remix, but a redrum.
I can name a couple.
Go.
But that wouldn't benefit from a full remix. Because I mean, to me,
like Redbone needs a redrum just for the club. Do you know what I mean? There's a version of that I play that's a little bit better.
Is it the exact same thing with just another kick and snare over it?
Any up-tempo Drake song needs a redrum.
The Questions by Chris Brown. I have a version of a redrum, and it really helped for the club.
Drake's
I could believe that.
up-tempo, I don't know the way it's mixed, they all sound like shit.
Oh, like Too Good?
They feel flat.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any like peak, and it doesn't have like that thump. It's like Passion Fruit needed a redrum. That was like light to me.
I actually like how that song was.
To me, that needed a redrum in the club, man. It just needed like another layer to that shit.
See, I like my lows with my highs. You know, like for me, if a tune is soft, like let that tune be soft. You know, and then whatever it's just about how you present it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like anything else. If you can present a song, we were just having a conversation before the pod started. I like playing songs that dead the vibe, or maybe not dead the vibe, but at least reset it and then make people confused. Mm-hmm. So you have to be on it enough to present the next thing that makes them flip and go, holy shit, I'm glad I just had that moment to breathe.
It's like that dip on the roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, a night should be filled with ups and downs.
Yeah.
You know, like high energy, a little bit low, and then picking it back up and everything like that.
I just see a lot of the straight across the board energy sets, and more power to anybody that does it that way. I can't do that.
Yeah. You know what I learned though? Those like flatline energy sets that just have a steady energy. Those are good when the club's not too packed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when it's
like when you have like a mediocre, like when the clubs is not like super packed and energy, and it's not like a fucking holiday weekend.
Yeah,
but it might be a little light. That straight and narrow
is good.
Is even better than like a high and low, because when you get to the low, people might just leave, and when you get to the high, it might be too much for certain people, where they stop participating, they start like spectating.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of learned, you know what I mean? But
I believe that 100%.
So you don't believe? I believe in the redrum.
I find myself never ever wanting to hear them. You know what I mean? Like
really?
Like if I've seen people play a song that would typically get a redrum and play the original with enough finesse that they would never need the redrum. You know what I mean? And that's not to like knock any tune that benefits from it. It's just for me, I just don't fuck with it. I don't know. And so back to when you were saying, why would an open format DJ make a remix of a already popular song? It's because they're probably planning on like, I got to make something that I'm capable of playing in my set, and nobody's coming for my original music, so I better make a remix of something that's already hot. You know?
That's a good point.
Well, do you think it's? I mean,
not to say I support it, but.
But do you think it's just to have these bigger EDM DJs play that shit?
I think that's the goal of people. They think that they're going to make this one thing, and it's going to turn into the next thing, and it's going to turn into the next thing, and that's going to open the door for them becoming an artist. You know.
I just think it's false advertising.
Yeah.
And I think it's creating a following for some shit that you don't want. You don't want that following.
Well, I'd say it's problematic because I wouldn't think it does create a following. I mean, you'd have to name one dude who created a real following from that sort of stuff. There's probably a few, but you know, when the flood of like open format DJs remixing popular songs happened or has been happening, I feel like it's kind of dying down a little bit now. But
yeah.
But when it was happening, it was like, come on, name like a couple dudes who rose out of that. It's
only dude I can think of is Scooter from Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I didn't really see him doing a lot of DJing.
Yeah, he was more on the remix of shit or edit shit.
But he made some really good ones.
Yeah,
he did make some really good ones.
He had a short span of it.
Yeah. But he never really like blew the fuck up off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the DJ tip, of course.
I mean, I might be wrong. How did Mac J come up? I mean, I know he was an open format dude, and then he put out a few things, and
I don't know much about that dude.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine was saying the same about Party Favor.
Oh yeah,
They kind of came up like off of remixes and just started doing festivals.
That's true. But see, there's a good example. Like for me, Party Favor.
Who was saying that?
Cyberkid.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, yo.
Cyberkid gets
That's Cyberkid.
Yeah, Cyberkid's a DJ from Vegas out here. He gets so fucking heated about the shit we say
about EDM and house.
He thinks we're we got to bring him up.
Yeah, we're bringing you up, Cyberkid. You listen to this shit. You told me enough.
He's
at the
really
club.
knowledgeable about a lot of stuff.
He's in the shit on this for
he's
sure.
He's also not knowledgeable about a lot of shit too. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, he's gonna come shit on us. Put a bullet in everyone's head.
He's gonna want to strangle us, but we got to get him up here. But yeah, I know. I figured he said that shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the fuck Party Favor is. No disrespect.
He did it right though. I think he's probably one of the only people I might be able to say did that sort of do a remix of an already popular song and make it bigger type of thing. Like he did it with his own style. I think what did he do, like the DJ Cool thing or whatever that was, Clear My Throat thing.
Yeah, Clear My Throat.
I mean, there was a bunch of others. He has that Rolex one, but he came up. Like I didn't know who he was when he was doing all that stuff, and then now he's got his own standalone artist career. So
I just think I want you guys. I want to hear some original music, and even if you make 5 of them and only one of them kind of sounds decent, I want to hear that. Yeah. Just because I want to change the narrative of us remixing and making trap remixes and doing all of this stuff to like everyone knows. Look, a DJ has the sensibilities of what works in the club, what doesn't work. We know mood. So why are we depending on other people to make music? So I want you guys to change that narrative and to make the music to the point where artists start paying more attention to DJs and being like, yo, that dude could possibly, we should work with that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To a Diplo, Calvin Harris. Who else would you say? Snake?
Mustard.
Even though we haven't heard some from Mustard in a minute.
Well,
right?
he's going to drop some shit with YG because YG's dropping a new shit.
All right.
So we'll see what the fuck happens.
Yeah, so
he's still pretty active down here, Mustard.
He's got his residency.
He has a residency.
Yeah.
Here and there. I remember when he was doing house parties in LA, which was wild.
Damn.
Yeah.
But that was that. Talking about artists acknowledging DJs. How come you were not at the Global Spin Awards accepting an award here?
Is that even a real thing? Like,
the thing is, what I don't like.
What do you mean? Is that a real thing?
What I don't.
It exists in this bubble. Like, how does one get, like
nominated?
I can't say that I pay much attention to it. So this is coming from a off the cuff, semi-haterish.
Because I wasn't there.
Well, no, because I just don't get it. Like I heard what are their categories? They've got like best club DJ or something.
Well, who's voting for this shit?
Exactly.
I don't know who's I don't know who's putting the list together and who's voting. That's my only thing.
Cypher Sounds just went off.
Cypher Sounds went the fuck off, and he dissed the shit out of Global Spin Awards. He was like, "Why didn't you guys invite me? I broke records. I broke artists. I was an A&R at Tommy Boy and a few other record labels." He just went the fuck off.
Honestly, man, for all y'all that don't know about Cypher Sounds, do a little research. Wasn't he on the Breakfast Club?
He was on the Breakfast Club.
He broke it down on some real shit at the Breakfast Club. How he is responsible for Rihanna. He is responsible for Rick Ross. He is responsible for a lot of songs and artists breaking through, and I do give it up to him.
Yeah, shouts to Cypher Sounds.
I think it's fucking whack that he's mad at the Global Spin Awards when, to me, I've never given I have no disrespect to those dudes. I've never gave a shit about that shit.
So, and then he also was Lil' Kim's DJ. He was Dave Chappelle's DJ.
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah, he was the Dave Chappelle DJ and Little Kim's DJ.
He's Michael Shea's DJ.
Michael Shea's DJ. He has a show on True TV, so he's breaking mad barriers.
I mean, I don't think he should be bragging about a show on True TV.
And no, it's mad fucking hilarious. It's funny. It's funny.
Is it?
It's a comedy show.
Okay.
But with all that said, he's still not looked at as like a Clue or a Funk Flex.
And he was Funk Flex's intern. Then
You know what I
he
mean?
got the morning show off of just that.
I think that bothers him a little bit too.
Well, yeah, because he's not getting the fucking credit he deserves. And, you know, the Global Spin Awards, they had the weirdest categories in the world. More so than anything. And then also, they had mad fucking models, the DJ models, broads, you know, just fucking there, fucking on the red carpet, on the fucking... I think they were just... It's a show to show.
But to answer your question, I think some of the categories were like regional DJ of the year, open format DJ of the year, like
club DJ
club
of the year,
DJ.
National Club DJ of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
It was like regional and national.
It's a little bit too much for them to bite off, in my opinion. Pause.
Yeah. But who knows who actually is voting for this stuff? Who knows who's making up the categories?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I just heard bite off, and I was like,
nope. Hey, yo. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're getting yourself in hot water if you even have a thing like that. You may as well just run an ad in People's Magazine or whatever.
Yeah, because you know, some DJs that I think should be there, like a Jazzy Jeff and shit like that, were not nominated. They were not even in present. So, I mean, but I think it was around the time, you know, the Thre3style shit was happening.
I'm just kind of curious to know what is the money factor that's behind that.
There's got to be.
Well,
there's
Revolt,
no reason to do
that's
that.
what I want to know.
Revolt TV's behind it, I believe.
Huh?
Revolt is behind it.
Revolt, so they have Revolt TV money, and they probably have some sponsorship money. And I'm just wondering what is the thing that feeds that.
And Sean Prez, he used to be, I don't know his history, but he's been in the game for a long time. The dude that's the creator. I don't know if he used to work with Bad Boy or.
But it was more about
Def Jam,
mixtapes
something.
back in the day, wasn't it? Wasn't it more about radio and mixtape?
I think so.
Yeah, and then they started putting in club shit in there.
Yeah.
Then that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, shit. I wanted to kind of talk about that because I was in LA, right?
Yeah.
And I want to go back to 2 Cent because I want to kind of break down what he was breaking down. So, like in the first 2 Cent mixtape, you know, you were talking about EDM DJs.
Sure.
And I guess the bigger issue was a couple of things. One would have been them not DJing, right?
Yeah.
A majority of them.
Yeah, I do it all very cheeky. Like, Craze actually, I think
in.
he used to get pretty mad about it because, you know, he's...
Follow Craze on Twitter, guys.
he'll tell you how he feels.
Every day you wake up.
I mean, for me, it's like everybody, whatever. You make your own lane, you make your own money, that's cool.
Right.
Do whatever you need to do. But doesn't mean I can't make fun of it. And
Right.
have some, be creative about how I'm making fun of it.
How long did
But
Was it also the arrogance?
Yeah, that doesn't help. I mean, if, you know, you look at just the type of guys that we always see and how much work they put in, and then you got these other guys who are belittling them, I think that's just sort of it's an ignorant attitude. I feel like the ignorant attitude alone is the only thing that would really make me catch feelings about it. I don't know.
And then moving forward to the second 2 Cent mixtape, you there was a section where you were talking about like LA DJs, right?
I love that. Why don't you guys do a
Sorry.
fucking edit of that, man? I love that shit so much.
What was that about?
Fuck, I mean, half the time I just make stupid shit up on the... I mean,
Was that from a bad experience? or
No,
something?
you know, that's the thing.
There was a lot of fucking DJs in LA.
Well, that is true.
What year was this though?
2000, I think 2014 or 2016. That's when the model.
It's not
like-
16, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, that's when you guys put that one out.
Well, you were
part two.
targeting what, like the
Well, it's
Instagram
just-
models that turn DJ or something?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's the influencer DJ.
There we
Influencer
go.
DJ.
That's the
okay.
fucking-
It's a
I
good
guess.
term.
Yeah, I mean, again, more power to you. I've seen some good influencer DJs, but yeah, it's all just like, it's just content for me. Like, I just want to do something creative, and so I need a topic. And if there's something that even catches my eye, I may not have to actually catch feelings about it, but I'm gonna like see if I can push some buttons and poke the bear.
That was my favorite one. 2-part.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was fun because it was just like everybody's making the pilgrimage to LA or something. It's like,
Yeah, I'm telling you.
it's like you don't need, like, why?
And
what's crazy to me is like everybody that I know in LA is like, oh yeah, there's no real gigs here. It's like, what?
There's none.
You know what? I vaguely remember that. Actually.
No,
Yeah.
and you know
Everyone
what's
was trying to
funny?
go there.
Craze did some shit for DJ City that year, and what fucking show is that? Mickey D show, and he did that show, and he played that part and it was a room full of LA DJs, which is hilarious.
Well, that's what we do.
And then I was like, yo.
Push the buttons.
I was like in the bag. I'm like, fuck, this shit was hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, that Craze performance was crazy. Mm-hmm. But that's when the 2 Cent one.
That had to have been 15 summer, right? 2015?
No, 16.
16?
Well, we put out one a year, and this is what, 18? So that would
16.
Yeah,
16?
Yeah.
And, go ahead.
Go ahead, no.
Oh, how long does it take you guys to do a fucking tape?
Well, we always say we're gonna work on it all year, and then we get busy, and then we do it in a month.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, oh shit, it's coming up. It's after New Year's. We haven't even really started yet. Oh, so. But again, this year we're gonna start all year.
Gather information.
Yeah, right.
Well, look, shouts to you guys. We kind of made it onto the fourth part 4.
That's right.
I mean, this recent one was deep.
That shit was very
what was,
dark.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of shit bothering me about what's going on.
You know what's funny when
about the world
when
quote,
we did that podcast and you said that I said 2 cents. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty dope that he said that because of the crew. But then when they used it, I was like,
I don't remember anything I say here. I swear. And
believe it.
And
that was an early podcast. It was like episode 3 or 4.
And Jamie re-listens to everything. He edits the audio, and then he'll text me like, "Yo, you said something about this. You sure you want that in there?" And I'll be like, "No, take that out."
Last minute scrambling.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, what was bothering y'all? What was the main focus of that
part
shit?
4,
I mean, it's obvious, but I want to hear, from you.
For 4?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the world's pretty fucked up right now,
right?
For many, many reasons. Like politically, the U.S. is a joke. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't even need to get into like the political divide, how insane it is. It's just so like how deep in the shit we've gotten. If you would have said to me, what was it in November or whatever, like I was actually at Craze's house. We were working on something. So we were working on something when he got elected.
Part 3,
and I remember thinking like, wow, how far have we come? Like this is some fucked up. We went out that night and got like so sad drunk. Like, when you're just like, fuck.
I can imagine Craze on that one.
Yeah. So, but then if you were to tell me that we would get to this point back then, I wouldn't even believe you. It's like, nah.
You didn't think it would get this bad?
I mean, probably subconsciously I thought, but so obviously there's that, and then if you want to get real into it, the actual world itself, I feel like is, we're not going to last too much longer. I don't think humanity's going to be around too much longer. But, so there's that. That's the whole, like, the motherfucking world's a bunch of shit thing.
Right.
Because, I mean, it is. We've turned it into, like, a garbage pile. And that's just it. And then there's Craze had to do the mumble rap thing, because he always makes fun of the mumble rap shit.
I like that part. That shit was mad. It was cool and clean.
For him, I feel like the mumble rap, all that, like, all the modern rap stuff is like, it's like staring at the sun for him. It's like he knows, it's like, he hates it. He doesn't want it, but then he can't help but look at it. He can't help but listen to it. And
that part was my favorite part.
Yeah. And he has like a bunch of outtakes from that didn't make it that I think he's going to develop. But and I'm trying to think what else was even on there. But yeah, I mean, I think every year we just think about what to us is important that's going on in the world, and it's less about. I think the first one we were probably talking most shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, he went at Hardwell.
That was pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
And then Hardwell came and like bigged him up during the performance like a month later or something.
Oh shit!
I'm sure he didn't know who the fuck he was, but
oh shit,
he was behind him like, oh yeah. We got video of it. It's hella funny.
I mean, those EDM DJs.
No, they're totally different lane, and that's why you almost can't even like.
But I think they're low key scared.
Yeah.
For sure.
Of us.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
They're definitely in a higher power.
Yeah.
And they're definitely like way richer than us.
Yeah.
To say the least. I mean,
but the second we throw shots at them, it's really kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, you just put. I was talking to Scene. I think it was like last weekend or something, and he was wherever he was last weekend, and he saw somebody.
Seattle native, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now lives here.
Yeah.
And he was saying. Oh yeah, I'm watching this guy and progressive house guy go on, and for whatever reason the hip hop room had to clear out or something. I think it was like AC was broken or something weird. Mm-hmm. For some reason, hip hop room had to get shut down, so everybody got pushed in the main room, and then they started pressuring the headline guy. Hey, you should probably like play for everybody now, and his reaction was playing. Oh shit, what was it? Scene was so irate.
Just to see, man.
He's like, I mean, he was like offended. He's fucking playing Jagged Edge as his hip hop song and fucking hip hop array and Jagged Edge, and that's what he thinks rap is now. I'm like, damn. But you know, to his point, it's like I feel for the EDM dudes because it's maybe they didn't ask for this. They came up with their thing in mind, and then you get a taste of the money. You're in the industry. You kind of can't turn away, or like if you can't continue to pave your own lane, and you got to start opening up a little bit. A lot of guys just aren't prepped for that. And that's just, you know, that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, I wish that they would be prepped, but they're not. They were busy, hopefully EQing a kick. I don't know. But now it's just like, shit, if I was making that much money and I didn't know how to DJ, I would take some lessons quick because they would benefit from being able to work on the fly.
Has any EDM DJ come up to you and try to check you and shit? Don't say no names, but...
No. No. For one, nobody fucking knows who I am. You know what I mean? Like I'll be like out and about with these guys, and nobody fucking knows who I am. So it doesn't matter. It's like I'm anonymous with them. So, but then with Craze, they all know him, but they're not gonna say shit to Craze. What are they gonna say?
I think Craze would punch motherfuckers in the face.
No. I mean, he doesn't need to. It's for him. It's just like, what are you gonna say? You know?
Yeah.
But
I want to touch on Paul's scene for a little bit. You know, he's from Seattle.
Yeah.
And he came to Vegas, I want to say in 2007, 6, around there. Mm-hmm. And he was at Jet, the nightclub that I was at. And I remember he was known for like this epic like hip hop party in Seattle.
Good. Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Well, he was known for this, like, he had a big hip hop party, right?
Yeah. So when he left, I took over for him. Yeah.
So you guys are, I mean, I want to know that relationship, pause. I mean, like,
you know what's funny is we didn't really have much of a relationship in Seattle. Like, like we talk a little bit. Like, I helped him move out. That was about it. Which sounds crazy to say we didn't have much of a relationship, yet I helped him move out.
But I mean, he was definitely like,
he was
the
like
golden child right there.
Yeah, for Seattle, sure. Right? He came up with all the underground rappers. He was touring with them, doing all that sort of stuff, killing mixtapes, everything. And then
was he on radio too?
Then he jumped into radio, and I remember him saying, "I want this to be my career. DJing is what I'm good at, so I'm gonna go all in." And he was like, "Fuck it, whatever it takes to crush on the radio and get a following, I'm gonna do that. If it means playing music I don't like, I don't care. I'm doing that." And he went and did that, and he was running it out there for a while.
That motherfucker is a workhorse.
He is. He's talking to him scary.
Yeah,
like
he like some military shit.
Yeah, he sets timers and shit on his phone. Like he'll set time. Okay, I'll work on this for 15 minutes, and then as soon as it goes off, I move on and do this other thing. And it's nuts because we did.
Y'all did music together, right?
Yeah, we've done a ton of tunes together. We did tour together.
This was back together in Seattle.
No, this was after he left. But then we used to do nights in Seattle together too. We had a night called 2080s that was. It was basically...
that was the big party.
Yeah, we did that for a long time.
So you guys started it together?
He did the 2080s mixtape.
Yeah.
And then we talked about, like, let's do it as a party.
Because I remember when he came to Vegas, I don't know if it was still big, but he was like, yo, you got to do that party. Yeah, and I never made it out there.
For a minute, we would bring people in, and then we talked about taking it national, and then there was, like... You know, it was one of those things where... people have a hard time grasping the vision unless they come to the party. Yeah. And then so somebody would try to throw a party in, like, I don't know, Dallas or wherever the hell. And it just wouldn't be it wouldn't be done with the same tact, you know? Yeah. And for something like that, especially at that time, like you got to do it with kids' gloves. You got to have like a command over it, you know, or else it just sounds corny. So playing a night of all 80s and live 80s remixing in the sense of like you could play a new song, but it's got to sample an 80s song, and you can lay a beat underneath it, but it's got to be smart. You know, so
he was relentless. I remember with like those mixtapes, and I think he had. I want to say, to be as bold to say, he had one of the first podcasts on like iTunes.
I don't doubt it. He's always brand new.
He
up
started
on
that shit
like
in like 2008 or 9 or some crazy shit.
His mailing list is crazy.
Yeah,
I don't even have a mailing list. Like, I don't even want people to email me. Like, but no, he's a.
So,
he's a
like,
rare
was
breed.
he kind of like a mentor, quote unquote, or not? You just came up together, kind of,
just
right?
Friend. Like, I admired his skill and his thought into basically, if you're doing something original and with skill and you care about what you're doing, then I totally fuck with it. And I liked what he did, and we didn't do the exact same thing,
right?
But there was a lot of similarities. So we got up on that, and then, you know, it's just like if I got respect for somebody, I'd love to work with them. So then we did it.
As you were moving forward, what made you think, I'm going to take this DJ shit seriously? You sold your company, and then you did the Thre3style, right?
Yeah, so I had a design studio with a homie. He went through some shit and like wanted to move to New York, so he went out there, and so I went. So
you did actual design. You were on Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator.
Oh yeah.
And you were.
So I graduated from with a design degree at a Cornish up in Seattle in like 2004. Don't let that age me too much. And then we started a studio together because we were just young kids, and I remember we took our portfolios to some like real agent or real agency in the city, and the guy was like, "You guys can't do this. You have to like, you guys need to. This is too youthful. You need to like button it up a little bit more,
right.
and like you need to be able to sell to like Microsoft and shit." And we're like, you know how fucking young we are? Like, we don't need you. We don't need any of this stuff. Like, we'll open a studio, and if we close the doors, we'll be ex-business owners at 23. Like, it doesn't matter to us.
Right.
Like, we're fine. And I was still DJing, like, 5 nights a week, too, so, and other stuff. So money wasn't the issue at the time. So it's just like, you know, for us, we just figured let's just do it because we were passionate about it.
That's crazy.
Did that for a few years. Did, like, tons of, we ended up doing freelance stuff with other agencies. We did, like, tons of streetwear. That's how we got involved in all the streetwear stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff for Nike.
I want to talk
everything.
about a little bit about your store in Alive and Well.
Right.
In Seattle. I had the opportunity to stop by there when I was in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Great looking store. I've always been a fan of your print work. I love like the tees and the hats and the hoodies. I love that shit.
We try to do it all in Seattle as much as we can.
It looks great. It's a great. And then Jordan was there at the time.
Yeah,
great photographer.
Yeah. And so, not to go backwards, I'll go back and then forward. But so we wrapped up the studio. I jumped over to a real ad agency and started doing senior art direction over there, just doing like campaigns and all that shit. And we did that for years, and it was great because I was in like the weirdo studio where my desk was on a 9-hole playable golf course. So, like, it was just weird for the sake of weird. Like, we had a Chinese restaurant as our lobby. We, like you know, it was one of those where they just went all out to try to weird for the sake of weird. And it was cool. It was just they wanted fresh ideas. And then in time, being in advertising, it just wore me down. I was becoming a pretty bitter person. I wasn't hyped. All I wanted to do was just listen to music and DJ. And
what was it? Was it just the pressure, the stress?
Clients. I mean, it was long hours. It was clients that didn't get it. It was like the inability for the agency to sell good ideas, even though they were clearly good ideas. It's like, damn, back when I was doing this for myself, this was easy. What's wrong with it now?
It all comes to freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it was fine. Everything was great. I had no plans of really jumping ship or anything. There was talk for a minute, like, well, maybe I will just kind of go after the money and just like join somewhere bigger,
right?
And like lock it down. And then my girl, I remember Thre3style was going on, and Headspin, who's the homie in Vancouver, was competing for that in 2011. So he won World Finals that year, and I was just going up to visit him and hang out with him and see what he was doing, just because that's the homie and he cared, and I just wanted to see. And it was like, damn, this is really, really cool, but they're not bringing that shit to Seattle, so I'm not going to do it. Because I had Redbull friends who said, we can't bring that project here because we're doing all these other projects. So I foolishly made the statement, all right, well, knowing, it's never going to come to Seattle. And I told my girl, if it ever came to Seattle, I would join. But that's why I'm not going to join. I don't want to go to another state to do it, you know? And she's like, all right. And then they announced that they were doing it in Seattle. And then she's like, oh, she pulled my card and was like, you got to join because, you know, somebody's got to pressure you to do it. So she was like, do whatever you need to do to take time, whatever. You need to be locked in the studio, that's fine. But yeah, I did that, and then it just, for better or worse, kept winning. And then had to go from like pre-qualifier to qualifier to semi to this to that. You know, it was like 7 different battles or whatever.
It's a different mindset. Prepping for for that kind of battle.
And that wasn't me at all. Like I didn't care about the DMC. Oh, let me rephrase that. I enjoyed watching DMCs in the sense of what Craze did in DMCs. I could watch that all day. What A-Track did, I loved it. It was great. It was a moment, but I had no interest in being that at all. And so when I would get in these situations where I had to battle somebody, it was never like, I don't want to scratch because I don't like to scratch. I don't want to juggle because I can't really juggle. So it's like, how am I going to beat somebody else. So it was all like, well, I guess I'm creative. I guess I'll figure out something that nobody could think of. And then they'll be like, how the fuck do you think about that?
Right.
And that ended up being the thing. So made different types of, like, basically it's just I'm tricking people into making them think I'm good, and then I get by them.
You know, I read somewhere that...
He's being humble.
Yeah, he's being mad fucking humble.
But
I read somewhere that you don't really practice or some shit like that?
No.
Damn.
No, and Craze got so mad about that recently. It's just
really?
like,
That
he's like, it's like skateboarding. You'd go skate. I was like, yeah, but that's different. He's like, it's not different.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it feels different to me.
I haven't practiced, and I don't even have a turntable set up in my crib. I would say in the past 8 years, 8 or 9, 10, maybe 10 years, I haven't had a turntable set up.
Shit.
But you can just, like you said, you can just work kind of sets out in your head.
Yeah.
And you kind of know what works,
Yeah.
where to echo shit out, where to scratch it in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have a solid base, if you've been doing this long enough, the fundamentals are already there. So everything's just works around the fundamentals.
The best part of the night for me is when I'm like semi-tipsy.
Yep.
And it's late night, last 2 hours of the club, where I'm just free balling it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the time where I come up with mixes, and I'm like, damn, I gotta remember that. Like whatever the fuck I did, I don't know what zone I was in. I don't even know what my head was thinking. But that's what I gotta write that shit down. I gotta remember that shit.
Yep.
That works the same way with you, right?
Exactly the same. Plus, then I'll have the flip side where I'm just sitting on a plane drinking coffee, like just slamming coffee. Because I'll have like 10 espresso shots a day or something. I'm just constantly trying to chase that little teetering on the edge there. And so, yeah, I just sit there and just like my mind just races and I just think about stuff. And so I just do it and I figure it out on the plane and I'll try it that night. And then maybe I'll butcher it the first night, but I'll probably get it the second night, you know?
That's wild.
So,
yeah, I read that shit. I was like, yo, that sucks. Like, someone's in it like, yo, you're a world champion, you all this, and then they'll be like, they're practicing at home to be like you.
Well, they're not wrong to do it, though. I would benefit from practice, for sure. 100%. I just don't have time, you know? It's like I got a bunch of other stuff going on, and it's hard for me to justify putting time into practicing when the reality is, like, what I do in a club, it feels natural and fun and works for a crowd. And anything more than that, like, it's almost... Like, I feel like if I practice more, I might set myself up for trying to push too much on them, and then they'll just be like...
I think you're right. I think there's a detrimental part when you're home alone and you come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And you work it out to a T, and you're so psyched about it, and you do it in the club, and it doesn't work. And most of the time, it won't work.
Yep.
Not saying that there'll be those instances where it will work.
Not going to work the way you think it's going to.
It's not going to work the way you think, and it's just kind of like not everyone is at your level of thinking. And to be honest, it's semi-selfish, or it's just very self-absorbed.
It's like a comedian telling a joke by himself.
Exactly.
In the house.
Like, and then getting mad.
You need
like,
a response.
Honestly, man, like I will easily get mad at a crowd, especially if I'm sober. If I'm playing shit and I'm sober and they're not responding or they're not feeling that shit, I'll be like, fuck you. And then like I'll play another song inside of my head. I'm like, fuck you, you fucking. And that's the worst place to be as a DJ, when you hate the crowd.
Yeah.
When you're just like, you fucking animals. Yeah, you want to hear 24 Karat again, right? You fucking schmucks. Right?
Well, isn't that the reason we drink, though, is to be on the same level as them? For me, and we talk about this too, like sober DJs, if you can pull that off, I just don't know how, because for me, you gotta all be on the same plane. Like, if you're on the same energy level as them, then you know the appropriate music to play. If you're not, then how would you ever know what they're vibing on?
Right.
You know? And not to say that, like, I'm not promoting, like, alcoholism or anything. I'm just saying, like...
But as you get older...
Like, if you have a better way to do it, tell me.
Yeah. I mean, I've had boys that, like... Some of my boys, like, they try to give up liquor, and it's a struggle, bro. It's a real struggle to, like, get it. But they do get it after a while. But fuck, I am hypersensitive when I'm like sober. So if it's not working out, fuck, man, I'll be super miserable.
I used to DJ sober for long periods of time, and then recently I started drinking.
But you're starting to feel that toll, right?
Yeah, I'm getting older.
You're not bouncing back.
No. Every hangover is a 2-day hangover, and it doesn't take much. And it's weird because, you know, growing up, we're conditioned to be able to take this life. It's not like that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And so one night you'll go out and it'll be business as usual, and you'll drink as much as you normally drink, and then you wake up the next day, everything's cool, and then maybe that next night you go out and you do it again, and for some reason you wake up destroyed, like, and there's no rhyme or reason. Like, I don't get it. I had blah blah. And so it's just, I don't know.
And you got a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And shit, that's tough. I couldn't even imagine coming home with fucking vodka breath and just my kid running up like hyper fucking like breakfast, and I'm like, fuck you.
Nah, it's
the crazy thing
game,
is the other night I forgot what the fuck we had to do. And then I was like, yo, did you put that shit up on YouTube for the podcast? And he's like, sorry, man, I went too hard last night.
Yeah, I went too hard, man.
It was like noon, and I was like, damn.
Well, for better or worse, I've kind of always never given myself that excuse. Like, you just got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. Like, it sucks. Hangovers are sucky, whatever. But I've never, I think in the history of whatever, in the past 10 years, I've probably taken like 2 days to maybe take a nap or something. You know, like that's it. Just keep going. Have more coffee. Keep going.
Shit.
Because like when I get home, I want to see my kid. I want to hang out and do stuff and like hang out with my wife and everything. So
that's like a feeling we don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we're all sad over here. You know, like, oh shit. Yeah.
Boy, it's sure nice to have someone.
Yeah.
We don't understand that level of love.
Yeah. But
I
mean, unfortunately, not everybody has a situation like that. So I know that I'm lucky in that. So I just keep, I just don't take it for granted. I just keep pushing. Like, I get that I'm tired. I get that it would be great to be lazy, but if I'm lazy about one thing, then I'm gonna be backed up on another thing that's gonna affect me mentally. I'm gonna be like, if I don't get something done, I'm sure you already know. Look at this board behind you. If something's behind schedule, you're stressing.
I do too much. I think that's my problem. I don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And I think I'll forget to do something, not because I didn't have time.
Yeah.
I'll just forget it because I literally forgot, because I feel like, I don't know if you go through this too. Like I'm like an 8-shelf bookcase, and if someone tries to put another book on there, it's just not gonna fit, and I'm gonna forget what that book is and what I had to do with that book, and that's just usually what happens in my brain.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's crazy. And you're not much of a coffee drinker that much either.
No, I never drink caffeine. I don't do coffee or anything like that.
I always wonder if maybe that was my problem, is trying to always chase the dragon of always being alert, and I always wonder if maybe that's what ends up making me feel shittier, ultimately.
Really?
Well, because I think about, I know a lot of people like that. Oh, I don't drink sugar or caffeine or whatever, and so for me, I'm just constantly trying to be at full alert, and then I wonder if maybe I'd feel better if I was just regular.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I think the trippiest I've ever been, what he's explaining, is when I used to like juice and fast. And I used to just like fast for like 3 weeks, and I would just juice or I just drink smoothies. And my girlfriend at the time would be so annoyed because I'd be hypersensitive. I'd be like borderline bitch. Yeah. I'd be like very sensitive about everything.
It was a lesbian
but
relationship.
I was so
the hangry man.
But I was so in tune with everything, bro. Like I was hyper, like I was just on point with everything, and I remembered everything. But if you forgot to do something, I'd be like, Jesus Christ. Like seriously, Darren, seriously, I'd be like that.
You didn't bring my bananas for my smoothie. Fuck.
I'd be like borderline, borderline bitch like that. But,
Zach, I think it was Serato.com. They were saying that you were one of the last DJs that still uses turntables for their live sets.
Yeah.
And I read that and I was like, damn, man, like,
huh? They said
it was
turntables for the live sets.
For your live sets.
Oh, you mean in like clubs and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean.
But it's just like
you guys talk about that all the time, right? The whole CDJ
would you ever
thing?
go into CDJs?
He does use CDJs.
I use CDJs sometimes. Yeah. I use them for all the Dream stuff because.
Oh, of course. I mean that's a tour thing.
Or for example, when we were in Poland for Thre3style, I played after Nina Las Vegas, who uses CDJs, and she was just ripping through these things, and it's like, okay, the vibe is so popping right now. Like she had this place going off. And the last thing I wanted to do was be like, can you guys put turntables up there? Because I already wanted them to switch the mixer. So it's like, shit, any more stuff, I'd feel like I'm just suffocating the room for a second and then trying to rebuild. So I was like, just throw an S9 up there. I'll figure it out, and I'll do it off CDJs. And I actually had more fun off CDJs than I would.
You're completely fine. You're completely fine with it.
But I'm not. You're never turning your turntables for some CDJs. Is what
No, I'm definitely not. It's different for me. It's like a whole different style of DJing. Like I don't really cut on them. I mean, I will a little bit. I use CDJs at like when I played that 143 party, because like the last thing I want to do is have bass.
Hot in there.
Right.
Well, if the bass ruins the night, then it doesn't matter how good you are on turntables.
But I think that's a good awareness to have.
Yeah.
To be like, yo, be aware of the room that's going on, and be like, yo, I don't want to fuck it up. I want to just like keep that energy. Let's keep it moving.
Right. And then same thing happened on Holy Ship when Craze and I were, we played a night, and then they asked us to do like a surprise set, but they didn't tell us it was gonna be outdoor. So then on the ship. So when you're on a ship, outdoor is windy as hell. So we got out there, and then I just took one look at the spot. Like, nope, we're not turntabling, but we are definitely playing this because look at this vibe. Like, this is gonna go.
Yeah,
that was his first time, I think.
Yeah, my sister's boyfriend called me. My sister's boyfriend called me. She's like, he was like, yo, your man Zach and Craze fucking killed this shit. And he was going off on some other shit. I'm like, yo, I didn't watch it, but
that was fun.
Send me the link.
Yeah.
No, but it was like bigging him up. I guess you guys killed the fuck out of that place.
It was a good time. But yeah, for me, CDJs, it's like I get it, and I.
Do you think you pay attention more to the selection when you're on CDJs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I found that out.
Definitely, but also I think that, man, in a lot of ways, I think I'd probably benefit from being on CDJs because it makes me stop doing some of the things that my bad habits that I do that I do on turntables without knowing it. Like I'll do little stupid like.
Unnecessary scratching,
very unnecessary little things, like not a lot of scratching, but like that shouldn't be done, or like
it's like a lot easier. That mentality of staying busy, right?
A lot easier to hit start and have it start on the one right there and have it be sounding nice and clean, and you just focus on the cleanliness and the selection and everything as opposed to just like, oh, I can finesse it in there, I'll get it in there, you know?
Yeah, I kind of. When I did I did Commonwealth for the first time, they had CDJs, and I was like, yo, we just had done that podcast where we shit on CDJs, and I did pretty fucking well in that night.
We're the biggest hypocrites because now we're like, CDJs, it's good for this.
Pioneer, send them over.
But it's true. I've noticed that when I'm on CDJs, I'm focusing more on the selection, and because it's more of a struggle for me to blend or mix two records, and you're right. I mean, it's a different way. I think it's perfect for like a lounge.
Yeah.
If you're at a lounge or like if you're trying to sustain that flat line energy that we're talking about, that steady energy, I think CDJs are the move.
I don't know. I've also had, and I don't know why, I feel like I've had a couple of my most favorite memorable nights on CDJs.
Really?
Where like the vibe is just crazy. You know what we all are trying to chase, where you got everybody in the booth and everybody's just freaking out, and it's not just your standard, oh, that was a good club night, but like the moments where you're like, damn, that was a real night. For some reason, they've all been on CDJs.
You think you're just kind of stuck on the technical when you have like vinyl?
I don't know what it is. It's weird.
I just think more can essentially go wrong when you're on vinyl.
More,
so that element is erased from your memory. You can just focus on your craft a little bit more because you're not worried about a record skipping or someone bumping the needle.
Yeah.
If there's a shitload of people in the booth
or
and
they
bump into you, it doesn't even matter because the CDJ is going to still go.
Yeah.
Or the needle's not fucking connected right. It's on red.
Yeah. But I do think that's true, that maybe it gives you, it improves it makes you think about what you're playing and then makes you give a little bit more respect to the song. Because like I'll disrespect the shit out of songs while I play them. I'll do all, you know what I mean? And in my head, it's just like a bad habit. I'll do it, and I know that I shouldn't have done it. And sometimes I'll even say it out loud to myself, like knock it off, and like I'll be just doing something like, sorry, I can't help it sometimes. But when on CDJs, I just don't want to touch it because I'm afraid I'm gonna like stop the song or start it over. Like it's like I'm a little bit more delicate with the machine itself.
Yeah.
Then,
I think you're absolutely right. Like, sometimes I struggle with having songs go to the second verse. Like I'm like, yo, that's enough. I think they've heard enough. Let's keep the energy moving. Sometimes it's a detriment, and you're right. On CDJs, I'm like, let me let this last because I don't want a quick mix with CDJs, so I'm gonna slow everything down a little bit.
I learned that actually from Dream too. Dream, he'll be like, no, we're going second, third verse. I'm like, what? It's like, I wrote that third verse for a reason. Like, shit.
Yeah, let's talk about
it. Where the fuck did you link up with the Dream?
Because when you told me I have some shit going on with the Dream, and then Krieger goes, yeah, he's doing some shit at the Dream Hotel in LA, and I was like, I don't know if it's the artist or the hotel.
No, so the Dream, the singer-songwriter, I Love Your Girl, Makeup Bag, Rockin' That, Shorty, all that.
Grammy Award
wrote for everybody. Beyonce Rihanna, Jay-Z, you name it.
He's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He's really
He made that
talented.
song "Baby" by Justin Bieber, and it was like the fucking.
He made Bieber.
Wow.
Christina Milian has some writing credits on that too. Just to say.
Yeah, they were dating at that time for a little bit. Yeah.
Maybe she was just in the studio. He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna get this check."
So, so I was a big fan of his music back in like the Love Hate album. I thought, man, it was just like something about his style was so like unpolished, you know.
It was like a new R&B kind of, but like a borderline Bryson Tiller, like that talk rapping, singing shit.
Sort of,
you know?
yeah. I just liked that he didn't. It was something about like he maybe wasn't like a polished pop singer, but you could tell he wrote it and he feels it, you know. And like it was just, you could tell that it was just, those were his dope personal ideas. And so I was really into it. So I was hyped on the music, and so I just made a mix out of all of his music, and I called it Dream, A Little Dream, and the cover was Dream next to a midget version of himself hanging out, and it was just for fun, you know. I just wanted to listen to it, and then I had some homies at Fader, so I sent it to them, and they posted it, and then that mix, like, it got really popular for what I was doing, so I was just like, damn, this was successful, this was great. So I started making a couple more, like I did some live sets of all Dream stuff by request or whatever. And so it was like a running thing where people, when's the next Dream mix coming out? Because it had like a little cult following of, because the music was so good. And, you know, I worked on that shit hard to make it connect in ways, because, you know, you work on one artist's music, especially when it's really melodic, you can connect the shit out of those things and make it into like a big piece. So
were you like, what do you catch, like melodic tempos or like
it was
patterns
everything.
and shit?
It was everything. It was like, man, and he already sort of does that with some of his albums. He'll do like 3 songs that all blend together and are split with tracks, but they go all together. And so picture that, but like in a mixtape form, it can be pretty wild. So I did that for a long time. Then I sort of stopped a little bit because I just got on with some other stuff. And then one day I was taking my daughter to the park, and I got like a weird DM from some dude, and he was just like, hey, I'm the Dreams manager, want you to come on tour. And I was just like, bullshit, you are. It looks like a fake account to me. And I was just thinking like, damn, do I have like, who's the hater who's trying to like trick me right now?
Right.
And so I was just I remember I was just pushing her on the swing, and I'm like, well, I'll look up his email address, and looked up his email, and I was like, this website looks fake as hell. And then I was like, wow, I'll look one more time. And then, so this agency manages Pusha T, though. So it is real, and they manage Pusha. And then I found another article that said that Pusha and Dream are managed by the same people. So it was like this weird, like...
triangle?
Yeah, I had to, like, connect all these dots to make sure it was even real before I hit him back. And then hit him and was like, what do you want? It's like, well, Dream really likes the mixes, and he loves that you know his music, and that he trusts that your vision would be good for this tour. And so after that, went to L.A., put the tour set together with him, convinced him to do some stuff he wasn't originally comfortable doing. We worked together on that, and then went on the road for a while, and then it was like, oh, this works. And then I just did a bunch of tours with him after that.
When did that start?
I don't know, a couple years ago. We've done like probably 5 tours now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it'll just be like when you say tours, like maybe like 15, 10 dates at once?
Yeah, anywhere from, I mean, like this last one was short. This last one was supposed to be 3 dates, but he's dope. You can never get anything. He just does what he wants. And he even says it, like, he'll be on stage and be like, I'm rich, I don't need to be here. I'm just here to hang out with you. I'm here to hang out with you guys and share this experience. Man. I'm not here for your money.
How is he as a person?
He's a great dude.
Yeah.
But I will say he's a millionaire genius, and he's been that way for a long time. And there's something about a genius that's been acknowledged as a genius for that long that makes a person slightly different, you know? Not for better or worse,
like
borderline
delusional about certain
everyday
things?
No. Well, maybe. Not with him, I don't think. His like, for example, let's say you show up to sound check or something, and you're working on getting this thing all put together, making sure the equipment's right, making sure this is right, that's right.
Yeah.
He'll walk in and he'll fixate on one thing, and to him it's like is the craziest thing in the world that nobody else saw that first, you know. And for him it's just like, why would you even leave? Blah. He gave me an example one time. This is when I knew what I was working with. He's like, come here. So I hop off the stage and I walk down. He hadn't even touched the mic yet. I'm just standing there with him, and he's not saying anything. He's just looking at the stage. I'm just standing there with him, like, all right, what do you want? How big's your house? I'm like, what? How big's your house? I'm like, probably smaller than yours. He's like, tell me about your bedroom. Oh, hey, yo. And then, he's like, what about your bed? Like, where is this going? And I was so thrown for a loop. And then he says, well, you know, if you invite, damn, this is pause-worthy. If you invited me over to your house, how would your bed look? Oh. I'm like, I don't know where this is going at all. And he goes, you would make your bed before you invited somebody over, right? I'm like, okay. Like, it wouldn't be all messy and shit, right? Yeah. No, probably not. He's like, look up at that DJ table. That DJ table is like your bed. And you just invited me into your house. Is your bed made? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, look at the drapery. Look, it's all wrinkly. Look at, like, I see all these drape. You gotta straighten that shit out. Like, wow. I didn't think of that. I was kind of focused on making sure the equipment worked. But yeah, I guess in a few hours when the show starts, the drape should be cleaner. Yeah, you know. And
see, I was thinking maybe he was talking about the wires.
No, actually, me too. And he didn't.
I thought you had like a cup or some shit.
I'm sure I probably did. And and then that was another thing where I thought he meant the wires too. And then like a couple shows later, he's like, I don't give a shit about the wires. That's like looking at the engine in the car. I want to see that. I just don't want to see a messy ass drape. And that's like something that I never would ever think about.
Right.
But you bet your ass that whole tour, the first thing I would do, we gotta get the drape right. Damn. Dream gets here to my ass.
Yeah, you sometimes forget it's a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you guys did 3 shows recently, right? Or 2?
I only did 2 because I was still in Poland.
Yeah.
Sent someone else.
There was
sent him a folder and was like, play 1 through 5.
Yeah. A bunch of my homegirls in LA went to the LA one, and they're like, "Yo, this is a dream." I'm like, "Yo, who was the DJ?" I don't know. Some white boy was in the back. It was like, "Yo,
that's me." Anytime an artist, that's the other thing that I haven't. For better or worse,
he had a lot of hits at that time.
He has fucking hits, bro.
Yeah. You can play all the stuff he's written for people.
I think there was a lot of songs that maybe like, I think never knew them, but there were maybe some songs that like he, like some Beyonce shit he did.
Yeah, you gotta know what I mean? You gotta know where he's been.
Exactly.
And also, there's a lot of songs that you don't realize are such cult hits. Like when we do shows, he'll play stuff that I love that I would never think we should play that at the show.
But when you're in front of like an R&B, yes. When you're in front of that R&B crowd, right? Yeah,
it's all women, bro.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's tons, but
majority is women.
And he has been making a point to say, like, fellas, thanks for also carrying the torch, because like,
no, we are R&B heads over here.
Exactly.
Shit. Does he do Walking on the Moon? Because that's one of my favorite
so records. I convinced him in the very first tour. So I used to do this thing. I think I put it on a mix, but I used to do this thing with what was it, Expose, Point and Overturn.
Yeah.
And so I like did this blend with it back then. And so the very first day in rehearsal, I was like, "How would you feel about doing this?" Like, and I kind of played it for him, and he was like, "Yes, we're doing that." And then I would pitch something else. He'd be like, "We're not doing that." But so we did the Walking on the Moon thing with Point and Overturn, and we always do it that way. It's
That's
like
my favorite record.
It's the move.
It's a great dream record, and it was one of the only like really up tempo joints.
That might be the first one I ever recall him doing.
Fast Car is another big one for him. That's also up tempo. Same BPM. Yamaha, that's another big one for him. Anyway, but that's the other thing is I feel like I might be a little bit almost like a little delusional about what his hits are now, because I'm such a fan that they're all hits to me. So then I wonder, like, well, what do other non like dream aficionados play in the club? Yeah. So
I mean,
if he shouted "play my hits," I'd be like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yo, like when he came out with that song, what was it? Dope Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That didn't really hit. It didn't go nowhere, but it was such a good fucking record.
Well, it was on the radio heavily.
But but that's another one where you'll play at one place and it may not go. You'll play it at another place and it's huge.
Yeah.
And so it's tough for me to understand where his fan base kind of weaves in and out of different areas.
But that's
same with
song.
Like that movie. That song. That's My Shit. Did you ever heard that one? That's another one where I remember it, but it never like connected with me. But we'll play it out and it'll be huge.
That was a big song. Yeah.
Throw it in the bag is also. I don't know how that one goes in the club now, but
I play in the opening sets for him.
Okay.
I'll go that into the remix, and it's always game over.
Like Love King.
Yeah.
Great record.
Damn, he has
hits, bro.
It's crazy.
Rocking that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was a dope
What is that,
one.
like a good hour show? An hour and a half?
At least an hour. Usually an hour and a half, sometimes 2. I mean, we'll just, depending on how he feels, especially like, not this LA show, but the LA show before that, I think we did like 6 or 7 encores.
Oh.
Like, legit, we went an extra hour or something, just because he was feeling himself. I think Beyonce was there, so he's like peacocking a little bit. You know? So, yeah, I mean, when he's feeling, and also he is an incredible performer. Like, he not only can sing his ass off, he's got crazy charisma and timing, but he has like really good crowd work. Like, if for any reason he needs to interact with the crowd, he will win them over every time. Even if they're a rough crowd and he's talking shit to them, that's his only way of winning them over. Like, I've seen him go do a lot of different things. I've seen him play the Casanova. I've seen him play the aggressor. And no matter what, like, every time I see him, I'm always impressed. So that's cool. And there's probably not a whole lot of artists like that. Pusha's another one I've seen him play a bunch of times. And it's
Pusha came out last night, right? To your
LA.
show.
LA, yeah. He came out for
3 nights ago.
they did MFTR.
You said you were surprised at how clear he sounded on the mic, right?
It's insane. His cadence is just like, it cuts through. It's nuts.
crazy.
Yeah,
It's not often that you hear like rappers who sound exactly like the record.
does the ad libs, does every word.
They're on it.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's like another one, from what I hear, that kind of like that scene mentality of, he's like, what I've been told is he does not have unreleased verses. Every verse he writes has been paid for and put out. And like, it's got to have a bottom line, like efficiency. And every tour, I mean, come on, there's not a whole lot of guys that rock in-ear monitors. If you're rocking in-ear monitors, you must care a little bit, you know? And he'll go out there like with his team and knock it down. So it's pretty impressive.
That's dope.
I saw him at Life is Beautiful. He performed with the Gorillas.
Yep.
It was pretty sick.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was sick.
I think he did something with Flume too recently. Mm-hmm. But that's the one thing I was gonna say is, you guys play in a lot of situations where you'll have like an artist come to the club, and then you'll have to sort of cater to that. I know you touched on that a little bit about how you have to play for them, be mindful of if they have any beefs or whatever, but then also still work the crowd.
Yeah.
And like, I'll admit, I don't have a whole lot of experience with that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't know how it would go.
One of the DJs who like is masterful at that, and I mean a master. And whenever he's in a high pressure situation like that, I try to go see him as Ross One.
Oh, Ross is the king.
Ross One is very, very calculated, and he can see the room, and in his set, he's like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then for Rihanna, and then I'm going to hit the crowd a little bit, give them a little something, and then I'm going to go to Jay, and then I'll go back into, and there's Fabulous here, so I'll do a little Brooklyn shit with Fab. Like, he's very mindful that way.
Very technical. I mean, he did the Rock Nation bunch.
I mean, it's technical, but it's very calculated in how he's doing his set, and that's why he does those Rock Nation brunches.
Smart format.
And I mean, I don't know if he wants me to talk about this, but off the record, he's DJ'd for like Seinfeld.
Beep beep beep.
Wow.
Beep.
Yeah, like his Seinfeld's wife like books him, and he'll be in like Seinfeld's home.
That's so tight.
And he's DJing with Jerry Seinfeld, and then they'd be like dancing around with like or something weird, and he's just having to DJ for like these people's tastes. And I think that's.
And then Seinfeld's in the back. What are you doing?
And Seinfeld would be coming up with a drink, just standing by him and like asking him questions, or like, hey, you got this, and then he'll have to work that in.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't know if I could handle that.
But that's a good example of how many different ways to success there are in DJing, and that's why when I say that like we talk a lot of shit on 2 Cents, for me personally. I may have heavy opinions about stuff, but for the most part, now maybe it's just as I get older or more experience, I care less, or I don't take as much offense if somebody's lane is different than mine, because there's stuff that I'm not good at either. That it's just like being put in a Ross One situation, I wouldn't do it as well as Ross, But like if
It
I
takes
get
time.
right,
It
if
takes
I
time.
get in my own lane, then I'm feeling more comfortable. But everybody's different. And then back to the Seinfeld thing, we put a lot of Seinfeld in that recent mix because I feel like Seinfeld's come of the age where he's talking about his craft in the same way that a lot of us all talk about our craft.
DJing.
And there's a huge similarity between stand-up comedy and DJing. I feel like if you truly care, because it's depressing as shit. It's like it's all a facade of like everything's always funny and you're always, you always have a great show. It's like, no, the reality is the shit's grueling. It can be depressing. It can be isolating. You can develop bad habits. You can have bad shows just like you can have good shows. The list goes on and on. If you hear him talk about it, that's why we ended up using a lot of his skits. And Craze and I talk about it when it comes to 2 Cents because when we talk about where we're taking the performance, which I don't think anybody has seen even remotely what our plan is yet, is going to be, I want to be the stand-up comedy of DJs. Like when people come to our show, I don't want people to think like that was a good DJ set. I want people to think that was a show.
Right.
Like Cirque du Soleil meets brutal honesty meets messaging meets like the Rage Against the Machine of DJing, the stand-up comedy of DJing, the Cirque du Soleil of DJing. Put those three into one, and that's 2 Cents DJ show. So
Well, like, I've spoken to a few DJs that I would do like, because you guys are a duo, kind of, right? I mean, you call it like the DJ duos thing. And then I would see a lot of DJ duos, and I wouldn't really see like, well, I don't see what the point of these two people spinning are like for.
yeah, there's not usually.
Yeah.
Usually I think
It's a
like
money grab.
one person can do that.
Yeah.
But then I think that's opposite. Like it's a money grab, but then at the same time, then you're splitting your money. So it's like
No way.
I see a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys team up as young dudes who are trying to blow up, and then it's just like, well, if one of you could just do that, what is the other one offering?
I think in some cases, depending on the marketing, like what's his name, Mark Ronson and Diplo.
Yeah.
I think their rates will go up, right?
Well, the thing is with me and Craze is we're never going to abandon our solo stuff, and what we do individually is a little bit different than what we do as a group. And I think that's where we want to take it way further when we're together and just kind of like develop something that you wouldn't do as a single DJ, And so it's going to take a lot of time. It's a lot of work. But
Well, that was one thing I wanted to kind of ask you about. Is that like what kind of hat do you put on when you're 2 Cents, and what kind of hat do you put on?
Yeah.
What are your where do your sensibilities change, and where do they like?
Yeah. Well, going back to like the practicing thing, he gets mad because he's like, we got to practice this shit. What we do takes practice, and he's right. What we do does take practice because it's not like, okay, now you do something, now I'll do something, now you do something. Yeah, there's some of that, but then there's a lot of times where we have 4 turntables and we're doing stuff with all of them and able to create what we're doing.
Right.
And we'll do a lot of like it's a lot of really message heavy stuff. It's whether it's like political, societal, like we really try to make just have a lot of messages in whatever we do, whether it's like skits or tunes or just general approach. And so to put on the hat, I think it's just like we take more chances as far as what we get away with. We're not necessarily trying to keep the vibe just rocking in the exact same way everybody else is. Yeah, there's moments where we're going to be like, all right, now watch this shit. Okay, now let's get back to the party.
Right.
Okay, now listen to this shit. Okay, now how do you feel about that shit? It's like we're working on how it rolls out. But the goal is to not have it just be a standard DJ set, which is easy to say, a lot harder to do, especially when I'm in Seattle and he's in Miami.
Coast to coast.
It's a lot of miles.
You guys gonna have like t-shirt guns and stuff like that? Are you guys gonna have cryo guns with your 2 Cents on it?
We got skits about that kind of stuff.
What is it? The glow sticks?
Glow cocks, yeah.
Glow cocks.
With 2 Cents on it.
Yeah, so we'll see how all that stuff
Have you guys thought
rolls
about
out,
releasing any merch, by the way?
I got a ton of stuff in the
Well,
in the
he was blow drying like the
Jesus,
hands.
that shit. Man, if you order some foam fingers, let me tell you, pick that shit up early and get those things out of the box because they come all wrapped up. And then when you pull them out, they just look
fucked up.
like
Weird.
like a wet blanket.
So how many?
that a dog's been
so I
laying
remember
on.
seeing like an Instagram story of him in like a hotel room, and he had like I don't know how many,
couple hundred. And I had to figure out what's the best way to get these things back to life. The show's tonight, and the thing says just pull them out of the box and leave them out for a few hours. So I pulled them out. I left them for an hour. I was like, nah, this is not going. So I was just restricted to what I had in the hotel room. So I just looked around like, hairdryer. I mean, I don't know what this is going to do, but if I blast the foam fingers with the hairdryer, and yeah, man, they started puffing back up, and then I realized it started smoking. It's like, well, it's working though. And so I did like 200 foam hands in a small LA hotel room, and I couldn't open the window because it's, you know, one of those hotels where you can't open the window. And so I'm just like, you know, like high as hell and headache like crazy.
That's crazy.
Craze wasn't even in town, so he couldn't even help me.
Irreversible brain damage that you probably did.
Well, it brought me back because when I first moved to Seattle, I got a job with some T-shirt print shop, and then you know how there's like the heat transfer style,
yeah,
where you just, you know, and you sit there, and this spot was cutting corners left and right, so you latch it down, and it would just start smoking. And so at one point, they finally gave us like gas masks, and we had to do this shit with gas masks because it was so bad. It just brought me back, like, oh yeah, that's where the little spots in the brain go.
Yeah, I can relate to that because when I used to sell shoes, we had to wrap them in that plastic, and then you hit them with the with the blow dryer, and you fucking get high as a motherfucker.
Yeah, jeez. But it just goes to show that you always forget about the details. You try to do anything that's beyond the Call of Duty, plan a little extra time.
Yeah,
you must know all about that, though.
I know all about it, and these guys hate me because I'm always getting on them about even just the details of this podcast, which
shit went a lot of work before this shit came out to the light.
Yeah, anything worth doing is going to take a lot more time than you think.
Yeah,
but then on the flip side, and not to get all deep on it or whatever, but my mom called me the other day and was like, "I finally listened to your new mix. Like, listened to part 4. I was like, oh, wow, cool, thanks. She's like, I listened to it 3 times in a row. Like, oh, wow. And then I'm thinking, like, there's some pretty questionable stuff on that mix. Dick, pussy ass dick. Like, damn, my mom's listening to this. Like, and then she's like, no, I get it. Like, I get what you've been talking about now all this time. Like, and she's always been supportive, but she's like, no, but I get the vision now of this isn't just a mixtape of music. This is like, there's a lot of opinions, and you're getting a lot off your chest, and you're making something lasting, and you're making something. And I was just thinking, like, yeah, the goal of the 2 cent stuff is, I just want to be able to make as a DJ, I want to make something that when I'm gone will still matter. Right. And it may not matter right now to many people, but it matters to me. That shit, like, when I listen to it, I think like that was a lot of work. There's a lot of thought, a lot of creativity. It took a lot out of me to make that. It like almost killed me type of thing. Every single mix, it almost like crushes us, you know? And so I just want people to be able to look back on those, even if they don't get it right now, and just go like, damn, that was a moment. Like, that was a real thing, you know? And especially as DJs, it's hard because we live in this like tornado of party where one night just flows into the next, and you can't remember anything because it just all goes together. Yeah, just one party into the next, one cryo shot, one fucking shot of booze, one like, you know, whatever presentation later. So I just wanted something that was still DJ related that could last beyond that. That was the goal, I guess.
That's good.
I struggle with that a lot because, like, I haven't done a mixtape in, I would say, like
2011. I think that was
2011, because I'm very anal about certain shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a detriment too. Like, I have conversations with Ross One, and we'll talk about mixtapes and just concepts. And we'll never like kind of go through with anything because I don't know, like, you know, I just feel like sometimes now I'm in a phase where I'm just like, you know what, if I do it, I should just do it because, you know,
why not?
Just get started on it, and then I'll just get it done. And either way, like, even if it was just like, I don't know, like a B- of what I do, it'll still translate as something semi good or acceptable to the public. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I still struggle with that. Even with this podcast, that's why I had to test. Like we were telling you, like we recorded like 9 episodes before we even came out. Yeah. Because there was no fucking way I was gonna put my name on something like this. Yeah. And it was gonna fucking suck. Yeah. You know.
And then the other part of it too, especially as DJs, is we always gotta sort of live in this moment that it's like stuff comes and goes so quick. It's tough. For me, it's tough to think of, I'm going to put all this music on a mix, I'm going to put all this work into it, and then a season later, all this music's going to be old, and it's not going to matter, or it's just going to seem out of date, or like trash, you know? Yeah. And that's just the internet thing.
Well, we live in a world where content is more important, right? A steady stream of content is more important than actual, like a good, like us putting out, like 8 20-minute, mixtapes throughout the year is better than making like one really good one.
Yep.
That might get forgotten.
Yep. And so that's a scary thing about it. But for us, like with the 2 cent mixes, we just figure as long as we're putting so much into it that is different and making new things happen, new ideas, new techniques, things that nobody's ever heard, then at least like somebody will be able to listen to that down the road and be like, damn, that was some shit.
Well, you're definitely changing a lot of people's like perceptions on shit. Do you know what I mean? In a good way.
What's the goal? It's just to get a conversation. We always talk about it too. Like, I get that not everybody's going to have the same opinions about us, especially when a lot of times we'll get booked in the same realm as these guys that we may or may not be taking shots directly at, and we just want the conversation. People shouldn't be afraid to have opinions about stuff, or like if you're tired about stuff, just because it's the flavor of the month doesn't mean you have to fuck with it. So like we'll see what's going on now in the EDM industry, and I think I was a lot more like accepted, or I was accepting a lot of this stuff that was going on because I figured like, well, that's the game, but it's like it's secular. Or it all goes in cycles. Secular. Yeah. It goes in cycles in the sense of something. If it's hot right now, it's gonna die. Eventually, it's gonna die. And then
everything's like that. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. It's like that with fashion. It's like that with everything. You name it.
Except with Supreme, but yeah.
Let's get into that in a minute.
God damn.
I want to talk about that with Zach.
But
Supreme is like a unicorn.
It is. It is. It's wild.
Yeah.
But another part of that though is that they're masters of their content. They put so much out. They've got so much. They control their accessibility that much. I mean, it doesn't hurt that they came up in the era where Quick Strike really meant something.
Yeah, because I was telling you I used to work right there in Fairfax, 2 doors away from them, and
you get sick of seeing the line go past your store.
It was fun.
Like I can't get out.
It was fun, but it was it was crazy to see that shit like firsthand, and it was not even it wasn't like for a big mainstream thing. It was for skateboarding, and you're a big skater or whatever, but.
I do like the skating.
Yeah, and I actually seen Craze tell you, aren't you supposed to be working on a mixtape? What the fuck you doing?
He was at the gym saying that. I already know, and I called him out, and he was at the gym when he said it. Like, this is the gym,
Yeah. And I want to know your point of perspective, because you have Alive and Well, which is a skateboard shop in Seattle. What do you think? Supreme's kind of pushing, your envelope, or is it like making your shit like the mainstream wave trending?
I don't know. It's tough to say.
You definitely have your own niche market.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider. Yeah, I don't live in the Supreme spectrum at all. I mean, I like it. It's cool. I don't like a lot of the attitudes that go along with it. Same reason I don't really fuck with the Yeezys. It's not about the stuff. It's about the attitudes or whatever. So it's just a totally different thing. It's like EDM versus club DJing. It's just like I'm not. I feel no way here or there about it. I can't keep up with it. I don't keep up with it. But at the same time, I like that it maybe keeps the skate torch alive.
Yeah.
But now skating's back all over again, and it's cool again. So
I think you guys Alive and Well has one of the best logos that I've seen. I love it. That black and white.
Thanks,
I like it a lot. And it's one of those things where I think when we first linked up, or I believe it was maybe One Oak. You were DJing, or
yeah, with Premier.
Yeah, and
with Maddie.
I think that's where we kind of also like we understood like that retail, owning a store, having staff, doing buying, dealing with marketing, social media, keeping stock and trying to like expand the brand as well. And I think that's where we kind of like we were really definitely like connecting, because it is not easy to keep a business going, and I don't think people realize it. And I don't even think people realize the smoke and mirrors that comes in a business, and a lot of the things they think are successful are not successful at all. And it's just that there's this huge money machine behind these entities or these brands that are supplying the continuous marketing and smoke and mirrors of everything. But in the end, it's like it's really there a lot of brands are taking a lot of L's, and I would say in the past year and a half, more and more brands. I would say there's more brands that are taking L's, like the successful ones that you think are doing well. Those motherfuckers are suffering, and they're just getting by, like literally just getting by.
Oh, it's the same old story. You know, you blow up, you get to this point where you need to invest you're making so much money, but in order to stay afloat, you got to keep feeding it. And then what happens when your bottom drops out? Right. Then you're feeding this big machine without the revenue, and then you take the L. But then you got people like Huff who reportedly sell the brand for whatever, 67 mil or something.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about it.
Yeah. I mean,
they sold it off?
I can't remember the exact way it's all going down, but they sold off enough of it for 67 mil to whoever originally reinvested.
Was that when their stores was popping up? Like when they
was recent.
This was recent. Yeah. Past year.
Yeah.
I used to work right next to Huff.
Yeah. But
I mean, with Alive and Well, when did you open it?
2012.
2012.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, what are the changes that happened? How did y'all have to adapt? Without getting too much into certain details, but and then where is the focus of where you guys are at right now with Alive and Well? I'm just curious because.
Well, I'll be totally honest about it. We shut our doors.
Yeah.
So we shut the doors in end of November, and it's still an online thing, but I think what you got to understand with like Alive and Well, just like any other brand, is it's all about your crew and how efficient your crew can be.
Right.
And like we opened that store with homies. It was just homies who wanted to make a difference. Before that, we were working. You remember Goods in Seattle?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Goods was a shop that started in like the earlier 2000s and was just crushing it. I mean, they were doing big things for Seattle, and we all, in different ways, worked with Goods. Some owners, some managers, some just like designer. So when Goods shut down, it was, it had its own internal falling out. And so we took, the guys who, the like-minded guys who were all still homies, we took that, moved it over Alive and Well, thought, hey, we're going to let Goods shut. We're going to carry the torch. We're going to make brand new stuff. We're going to keep it Seattle-focused. We're never going to think beyond Seattle because we want this to be good. Seattle's always treated as like a non-issue. Right. It's like people always forget that it's a real place even, Yeah. It's like we're never considered a real city, and that we're just used to that. That's the Seattle mindset. We've been taking L's for years, and that's just how we all kind of grow up and think about it. So we're like, we're going to do this for us. We get that there's a whole bigger streetwear industry that follows different sort of trends. We're going to do our best to just stay focused on what we like to do for our shop, for our people, for our friends. Mm-hmm. And we did that, and we never really deviated from it. We did a ton of collaborations with people because those were homies. I think most recently we did one with like Jesse Brown, who's another local Seattle artist who's amazing. Mm-hmm. We did that thing with Pleasures with this guy Lance, this photographer who used to shoot grunge era stuff.
So Pleasures is doing really well.
Pleasures is killing it. Yeah. I mean, success story right there.
Uh-huh.
But so we did a lot of stuff with a lot of different people, and it was all just because it was friendship related. It wasn't like we got to get in tight with these guys or we got to release this because it's hot. It was, we just did stuff because we thought it was good for the city. But I will say that as with a lot of things, you get too many owners, too many cooks in the kitchen, too many ideas, and improper communication, and you're going to start having some breakdowns.
Right.
And so, it's tough. Like, there was a lot of arguing that went down to the point where it was just nobody was hearing each other, And that was all it was. It was just.
And then when you start making some money too.
Yeah.
It all clouds the initial vision of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, it's just tough because it's like you care about what's going on and you get wrapped up in the politics of it all, the internal politics of it all. Mm-hmm. But thankfully we're all still tight. Everything's good. It just got to the point where it was like things were getting a little too complicated. So we're like, you know what? Let's take a step back. Brand's still running strong on the net.
That's
whatever.
good.
And it'll come back to life here strong. But I think for now everybody just needed a little breathing time. But
I think
plug. We're opening another shop.
You're opening another shop?
Yeah, we just signed the lease.
Good.
Me and another homie got a new brand coming. So.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yep. So
Definitely.
I'll send you a box.
Yeah, let me know. Because I think we were even talking about a potential collab with New and Alive and Well.
So the new one's going to be a perfect example of where we were talking about picking up on that, because we want the new stuff to be with the Alive and Well. It was so skate focused that we always wanted to make it accessible for people, and that means not having a high price point. That means doing stuff that you can kind of just keep pumping out. Because I mean, I gotta admit, skaters like rip through our stuff. We're gonna go destroy a T-shirt in a day, so we can't be like trying to make some fancy ass shirt that if you take the L on the T, then it's a problem. So we always tried to stay pretty like reluctant to do cut and sew. We did a lot of pieces, but we never really went in fully on it. So the new thing is going to be you
guys had
all about taking
a couple
chances.
of great jackets, though. I remember that you dropped.
Yeah, we work with a lot of really good people up there. A lot of good people for production. Plus, it helps that the print shop is also owned by one of my business partners. So we get away with a lot up there.
That's good, man. I think if anything, for anyone who's starting a business or who's developing, I think the next 2 years is the perfect time to start developing or starting something new.
Yeah.
It's actually, there's a shift in powers that's going on right now, and it's happening with the clothing industry. It's happening with a lot of industries.
Retailing.
But it's kind of like, these entities that were here for a long time, they're using the youth to sell this old brand, and in the end, I'm not saying that these old brands have to die, but there has to be a shift. There has to be a change where, where the money's getting distributed a little bit better. But anyway, during this change, I think in retail and everything, I think it's the best time to actually start something and develop it and build a following now.
Right.
Nice.
Then goes in cycles.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're seeing it all fall apart right now, and it'll pop right back up.
It'll pop back up, right?
Just like with DJing.
It's in the country's in a dark place. I would say clothing retail is in a dark place, a very dark place.
Scary
dark.
Anytime I actually pull my head out of the sand and look around at the landscape of retail and brands and everything, it makes me not feel at all comfortable about staying involved in it. But it's just like with anything else. If you want to do something, don't let the landscape scare you away. Do it because you want to do it, and then hopefully because you're doing it for the right reasons, it'll find its own success path. Same with DJing.
I went through similar issues that you went through with Alive and Well with New here in Vegas, and it's almost the same thing where like no one really takes Vegas seriously, and even to this point. I don't think people consider like New a Vegas brand. You know what I mean? But it is actually, I would say that it is one of the only clothing brands that really represent Vegas.
Yep.
But there are a lot of young dudes out here that have great brands that are coming up. There's this one kid he has a gutter born. There's a bunch of talented kids that are gonna come up that are from Vegas. There's like these dudes that were from Stussy. Bryson and Devin, they got like a do-rag company. They're coming up. So like all of these dudes are on the come up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was, there's a time when you have to look at your business or something like New that I had, and you kind of get caught up in the machine, the money machine, and like you lose the focus on what was the main focus. And you can't do that when you have like 20 employees.
Yeah.
You have a payroll. You've got rent.
Yeah.
You got all of this shit. So at some point, I had to go down and I say, okay, look, like I'm becoming like a 9 to 5, not even a 9 to 5, like a 15-hour working dude. But I'm not working for myself. I'm like working for my staff. Do you know what I mean? And that had to change. And in changing that, I realized like I love making clothes. I love this. I love that. And I'm just going to keep this. And I just got to restructure some of the operations. And then that's what it basically came down to. But I totally understand where you're coming from and how you need a break. But ultimately, you're going back in because there was a love. There's that design aspect in your heart, right?
Yeah,
you got to keep that shit going.
Yeah, it's funny. Because, like, people always ask, friends that I grew up with would ask, like, oh, man, you left advertising. Like, damn, so you're not doing any design? It's like, are you kidding me? I'll never stop doing design.
Every day.
Yeah. I mean,
Drawing
like,
as we speak.
Mixtape covers, logos,
everything
goes on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, if you're interested in doing stuff, everybody should do more than one thing. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
It only helps.
Now's the time. America's built like that, where you can't just focus on one shit. You can't do one thing. You got to do like 4 to 5 different things.
And each thing should individually almost kill you. Like, if you're not putting in work, that every single day you're wondering, I might die, then you're not doing it hard enough, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back. I want to go back to the Thre3style.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lot of fucking ball bags out there.
I want to talk about 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, because it looked like fucking fun out there in Poland.
Poland was a good time, yeah.
That looked like a lot of fun.
A lot of good people.
You said that in one of our our previous episode.
You fucking dirtbags out there.
You guys lost a lot of followers.
We were.
I don't think
we weren't shitting on Thre3style.
We weren't shitting on anything. We were just giving our perspective. And motherfuckers got soft.
This is what I want to clear up. When I said I didn't like DJs who scratch just to scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about. I don't know if y'all remember this, but back in the day, at the end of the night, you'd have some DJ homies at the club, right?
Not at my nights.
Well,
I know where you're going with this.
You know what I'm going with this, right?
Yes, I know where you're going with this.
There was a period where like, oh shit, there's all these DJs in the booth, and it's 3 a.m. The club closes at 4. Let's just scratch for the last half hour or last hour. And dude, I mean, I'd be there watching dudes, and look, I'm not a scratching dude. Like, I can do like the most basic shit. You know what I mean? But it was just never my focus to be that. My focus was more on like rocking the party, selection, energy, and like mic control and all of that shit. But I do respect that shit a lot, and I love it a lot. But I swear to God, I can't sit there and watch these dudes scratch for like an hour and go back. And I just never knew what the point was. And I thought it was completely selfish that they cleared a club out
by scratching
for a bunch of nerds and just to do shit that they could do in their bedroom.
Well, that's actually why I think that it works now that they have these things like scratch lounges or whatever, the scratch meetups.
Where the fuck is a scratch?
What the fuck is that?
No.
Not like lounge, not like lounge, like lounge. Like, they'll do these meetups, like the Texas Scratch League, I think.
Damn,
if there's a scratch league, invite us. We want to see this shit.
What do you mean? I want to burn that shit down.
They have the shit in Seattle. I've never been, but they have like scratch meetups. You don't want to start it, Zach. I'm just saying they've got
scratch.
They got their own special clubs.
Scratch meetup sounds crazy.
They do have like.
Is it like a potluck? Everyone brings like a stew or something.
Like, yo, you bringing that vinyl?
Some kid over in the corner is like rolling a 6-sided die or a 24-sided die. No, but. I think that's for me the only appropriate time. I don't cut like that, and so when people come up and go like, "Let's have a scratch session," I'm like, "No," and it's not to knock it, because like again, when me and Craze are practicing, he'd be like, "You just want to like cut for a while?" I'm like, "Nope." It's like, why not? He's like, that shit's like meditation for me. I'm like, that shit's like anxiety to me. Like, I just don't want to.
It's like jerking off. It's another version of jerking off.
You keep going back with a dick punch.
It is, because it's kind of like I'm good. I don't know how to explain. Like, if I was good at something, and just to continue doing it, knowing that I'm good at it, it's a little different.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's like self-discovery. I'm not saying that Craze what he's doing.
No.
There's a level of like self-absorption.
I don't know. I like fucking around, but not to call Darren up and be like,
no, to me, there's got to be a purpose. Like, I'm doing this to make a mix, to do this, to do a routine or something. But to just be in my bedroom and scratch for 30 minutes.
Not gonna lie. If Craze tells you want to just have what he said, let's have a scratch off or whatever it's just called, that would be kind of scary. That's like sparring with like Tyson, bro.
I've told him that too. Like, why would you want me to scratch with you?
Yeah, that's scary.
It makes me uncomfortable and makes you just feel better.
Yeah, let's just have a scratch off. What the fuck? Nah, you're like Tyson out here.
But I do get it, and I like, I'm not knocking it because I know I can't do it, and I know that people get a great sense of, they get something out of it, and as long as they get something out of it, then I don't really care what it is that is your hobby, you know. But to take it back to where you were talking about it being in the club, I just don't. The whole like, I don't want to see a Thre3style set in the club. Well, or I don't want to. I don't remember exactly how you said it, but I don't want to see like a DMC set in the club. It's like
I don't know if I
No,
didn't say that.
he said
I don't want to see scratching. I look.
No,
I just think it's totally different things.
scratching for no purpose is what he was actually saying. At the club. In the club. Not saying he just said that basically like those routines look like a fucking bartender flair.
Oh, yes, you did say that. But then wait, there was something. Somebody else had a different analogy for it that I thought you guys should have just focused on.
Slam dunk?
The dunk contest.
Yeah, the dunk
contest.
Because a normal game isn't all dunks.
No.
Maybe you'll see one.
No.
Maybe.
That's a great
Yeah,
point.
Maybe not.
yeah.
That's a great
But
point.
But that's
So-
not part of the game. Dunk is like one aspect of it.
Right, exactly.
So scratching is
and so
one-
what I'm
There's
saying,
passing. There's teamwork. There's like a whole bunch of shit.
yeah. So what I'm saying is like, yeah, of course, it's difficult to ask somebody to sit through a whole Thre3style, hours and hours and hours of Thre3style sets because it may just get a little much. But it's like, yeah, well, that's why it's in a special place.
Right.
It like you would not do that shit at a normal club night on a Saturday night when nobody knows what's going on. You wouldn't be like, hey, it's Tiffany's birthday, and next up is,
Right.
I
think like a minute of that, like maybe a minute to 2 minutes of a Thre3style routine, maybe like 3 times a night, like in sections, like every 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Enough to impress motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
Just to show the DJs alive.
Like you show your dick off a little bit, and then you just go back into the party.
Pause.
Do you
I'm
understand
telling
what I
you, he
mean?
goes with the dick shit really quick, and I don't know why, but it's just dick.
It's like jerking off. It's like I'm like, look how good I am at jerking off. Look at my dick.
Look how big.
I never even said how big it is. I'm just saying, look at my shit.
Last week you said, look how big it is and
I didn't
shiny.
say how big. I said, look how shiny my dick is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's
I'm just
mad
saying that.
dick jokes out
I
here.
guess
saying.
I guess going back to what Thre3style is though, there's so many different approaches to it.
Yeah.
That it's tough for me to stand behind one opinion about it because I've seen people who go at it and their approach is I'm going to be like mad technical the whole time, or there's some people who are like I'm going to be mad vibey the whole time, and so I can't call it 100%. My approach to Thre3style, what has worked for me, is treat it like a club and just treat it like all of your club highlights jammed into one little set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a bunch of holy shit moments, but condensed.
But then there's like a bullet point list of like you need to show off your scratching here, and you need to show off this here.
Not necessarily though.
No?
Because we're trying to change the perspective of it. Because one thing is people think that they have to go through some imaginary checklist. This is a winning Thre3style set. Bullshit. What we want to see is somebody that makes us remember them and think, holy shit, that was special.
Okay.
So I want to see somebody that like makes me cry during a DJ set.
There you go. That's a cheat code, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but I mean, like we saw a Kid Koala play in Toronto one time at a Thre3style, and he like did a routine with Moon River and like dedicated it to his mom. And everybody looked around and it was all these grown men just crying, like, this is so beautiful, like in a club. And that was like a special moment. Like, that was dope. And so with Thre3style, I just want to see people with new ideas. Please don't do a Thre3style set that you think sounds like a winning one from the past. That shit's played.
I think that was the problem with the DMC, right?
And it's this, exactly. And for me, the only downfall of this stuff is you get a lot of dudes thinking that they need to look at the previous year to find out what the rules of success are. There are no rules, and don't look at whoever's been in it before because all that's going to do is hurt you. Because don't be like that. Like
another jam, guys. Another jam.
Do like these Thre3style guys and DMC guys? How do they view club DJs? Like,
how do they look at us?
Like, how do they like?
Let us know.
They think they like all they do is rock parties. They
my
don't know
opinion, my opinion is that any good Thre3style DJ should also be by the definition of Thre3style, also be a good club DJ.
A club DJ is a prostitute, though.
The point of
we're the hosts.
We're hosts.
We're definitely hosts.
But you're forgetting that
we're strippers.
But you're also
literally strippers.
Also flexible. Pause.
We're flexible hoes.
to me, like in order to be a successful club DJ, you gotta be flexible. You gotta be you gotta be able to be spontaneous, on the fly, understanding of music, understanding of the
what
way.
What do you think a hoe is? A hoe is flexible.
But
they
you understand what they like.
They can fuck a fat dude. They can fuck a skinny dude. They can fuck a
we
black
must
dude.
know how you like
they
it.
make every fucking kind of dude feel special.
We see
the guy that
we see crowd reaction.
The
then we
R.O.A.D
see face
podcast,
reaction.
standing on the side of the road.
That's what a club DJ is. We
Hitchhiking.
are the hoe. We're the hoe that like has that one client that's like, hey, just fucking like poke my balls with these like needles.
Yeah.
And we'll do that because we're a club DJ.
Yeah, we're club DJs.
We'll we'll poke holes in your balls because we're club DJs.
It's all dick balls related in here, man. Pause.
Prostitutes. There's nothing else to say that because we're not those dudes that are like, we're not house DJs, right?
By any means necessary to keep the vibe.
Yeah. Anything.
Right. So so to me,
which is the equivalent of we'll do anything to make him nut, right? Which is the prostitute shit, right? We're trying to make the crowd nut.
Yeah, because you're kind of on both sides. You're kind of club party rocking, but
I feel more comfortable in the club than I do.
You heard that?
At like a DMC.
Are you sensitive?
I would not get on in a DMC. I would fail miserably at DMCs.
Why? Is it like?
Because I don't practice. I don't juggle or scratch that well. Conceptual stuff and like creativity is my strong suit, and that to me works really well in a club environment because they don't want you to be super technical. They don't like it if you're super technical a lot of the times. Not all the time, but sometimes they will be more willing to accept a smart idea or like that took me by surprise but was dope than, damn, did you hear that triple click flare? That was cool. Like it just doesn't, I don't know.
This is really good advice for anyone who's going to do the Thre3style, by the way.
Well, because you told us that a lot some people hit you up and like, you're going to let them talk about us like
that. No, I get it. Like the people who ride for like the real DJ hashtag or whatever, I feel like there's a misconception. It's just like usually anybody that catches feelings about something to me aren't really even involved. I don't know if that's true or not, but it just feels like a lot of the times when I see people talking shit online about anything, whether it's like EDM or whether it's club DJing or whether it's like, I don't know how specific I need to get about this, but I feel like a lot of times if you're talking shit, when I go and I look at like, who is this person? It's like, oh, well, they're not doing anything. Like, do something and have something to offer before you just try to shade other stuff. So to say that that actually sounds backwards. I'm getting off track.
Yeah, because we trash shit over here.
So there you go. But what I'm saying is you guys are in the clubs.
Yeah.
And so that is where I'm saying, like, if you catch feelings by somebody who is in the industry, who is actively holding the walls up, like keeping this thing alive.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have an opinion, I feel like, if you're actually involved.
Yeah.
And everyone doesn't have to have the same opinion. And we don't have to have one unified voice, but we just have to respect that, not everybody does want to see this or that or the other. There's a lot of different things that make DJing special, and there's no one right answer. And so if you're trying to wave the real DJ flag, well, there's a lot of other things that contradict real DJing that probably are what keep the DJ industry afloat.
Yeah, I respect the DJ. Like like when there's like a crew of DJs, like DJ homies in the booth, I respect the DJ that plays for the crowd and then doesn't give a fuck about the guys behind them judging them, because more than likely you're gonna teach those guys behind you a lot more by sticking to your guns and focusing on the crowd than trying to please like this DJ behind you who you're like, oh fuck, let me play MOP Annie up for him, or let me do a scratch routine for him, because we're just gonna be like, yo, like, why are you doing that?
I play for the ladies and gentlemen.
Boom. Just so the answer. Yeah, I mean, I think any good DJ who is worth their weight is knows when it's appropriate to.
Yeah.
And believe me, I am at fault for picking the wrong times to do stuff, usually alcohol related, but.
What's your drink of choice, by the way? Just
coconut water. I don't even know anymore. It's all just poison. Put it in my body.
So wait, going back to the Thre3style, when you're invited to something like that, are you kind of hosting as well? Like, what do you
well, now
you're like a liaison.
Wait, can you not compete no more, or what? Because you won one?
I don't think they.
It kind of reminds me of, you remember the Hunger Games?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're a tribute. You volunteer as tribute.
No, but the guy who's like training them.
Oh yeah,
he's the guy that actually won it.
Yeah.
Who won it like in a couple years? What was his name? Fucking what's that actor?
It's Woody Harrelson's
character.
Woody Harrelson. You're Woody Harrelson when you go to
and not just because you're white.
Usually that high. Usually. My involvement's been a little bit different this year, so we got invited out. I didn't have to judge any of the World Finals, but we helped select the wild card. All the previous World Champs helped select a wild card for the finals, and then they had like Jazzy Jeff, Craze, New Mark, Scratch Bastard, Nina Las Vegas. Am I forgetting anybody? I think that's it. Judging. And so yeah, it's cool. Like we'll just go out there and we'll do like a showcase set or whatever. This year I did a solo one, and then Craze and I did something together. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always joke. I used to joke around more about like, oh man, I should just get back in it just to like
shit on all you motherfuckers.
Just to like flex. But then it's just like, no, everything. Times are different. I don't want to get in that mind state ever again. But at the same time, like people should get in there just to fuck around and see what happens. If you're interested in it, you should join just to do it. There's no. I think gone are the days where people should be scared of losing and looking like they took an L, because Thre3style itself, I think, has moved beyond that. I used to know, especially a lot of guys in LA I'd talk to, be like, oh, I don't want to get in there because, like, if I lose, it'll look bad for my brand. It's like, pfft, whatever. Like, go in there and just, like, fuck shit up, and if it doesn't work out for you, that doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, Thre3style's not going to, like, change who you are. It's just another thing to go in and, try to adapt to.
That's crazy.
You got any questions?
Yeah, how did you feel? Because I was just thinking about DMC. Remember that show, Master the Mix? Mm-hmm. How did you feel about that? Like watching that? You didn't watch it at all?
No.
That's the one on.
I couldn't.
It was on BET for a season, and it was on VH1.
JCO got mad that I didn't watch it one time.
Yeah, because he was one of the winners.
Like, I came to your shows, but you didn't watch my TV show. Like,
I was just curious how someone like you
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Jesus
at
Christ.
dinner.
To me, it was like America's.
He likes to throw a lot of shit around, so that's just what it is. I don't think he. I hope he's not really upset, but whatever.
It was like America's Next Best Dance Crew, but DJing.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know.
I mean, it's the same thing as the flavor battle for me. It's just like the McDonald's thing. It's just like whatever gets
heard of
you.
that.
It came out.
McDonald's,
I think,
they had a DJ battle.
Oh, they did.
And then they'd make you DJ in a giant Big Mac box. I'm not even kidding you,
dude. That's fucking low. That's the biggest L ever.
That's like the Mary J. That's a Mary J. Blige.
Dude, that's the
commercial.
biggest ever. Yeah, that was like Mary J. Blige singing. What was she singing? Chicken sandwich for KFC.
Crispy chicken.
Oh my god.
Crispy. Yeah. Sounds crazy.
Oh, and just going back, like, how did your name? I asked that earlier.
The 4-color pen. Because I used to draw with the 4-color pen.
Okay.
So all like when we'd present stuff to clients, half the time it'd be drawn because it'd just be like, I'm not gonna waste time on fucking photoshopping all this shit out. I'm just gonna draw it for you, So I'd always have the pen with me. And then that was our first. When we opened the design studio, it was FC kids, 4-color kids, because we'd always use the pens. And then at that point, I wasn't even like, I got roped back into DJing at that point. I'd kind of like gotten away right there. And then that's when it was like, fuck, now I got to do 5 nights a week. So I needed to come up with a name or whatever. So I was like, okay, Color Zack, it goes back to 4-color kids. And then everybody who works with us will be 4-color so-and-so. 4-color Kalani.
Damn, he was like the first ASAP mob.
Yeah.
But like but that was it. Like that's exactly the idea. Was it all goes back to the agency, like to the studio. Like the mixtapes would all be for the studio. The art shows would be for the studio. Anything we sold, studio. Like it wasn't about us.
ASAP mob.
So if you're the ASAP Rocky of 4-color kids, who's the Ferg? Is Ferg emerging?
4-color Kalani. He's in New York. He works for who's he work? He actually has a kids brand now.
Really?
I'll pull it up. I can never remember that.
Is this really? Wait, his name's 4-color
Kalani.
Kalani.
I mean, his name's Kalani. He's from Hawaii.
4-color Kalani.
I want to be like
kind of
the
cool.
ASAP 12, but four colors.
4-color Jamie.
Can I get jumped in, bro? I used to live in the hood.
It's a major L for the crew, man.
Be like, yeah, your way is down. We got to get the ASAP name from you.
How was the vibe with the Thre3style? Like with the competitors? Was it nasty?
No.
Are they shit talking? Like,
I feel like we're past all that now. I think everybody's.
I want to hear some dirt. I want to hear some motherfuckers doing like fucked up shit, like fucking someone's needles up.
Well, there's been questions about that.
Really?
For sure.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Really?
In previous years, I remember hearing somebody go like, "Why is there a drink in the fader?" Right after this dude was up there, like, that's.
What do you mean a drink in the fader?
That shit sounds like a
may have
Scooby-Doo.
poured some like drink in the fader, like right after his set. I was like, miraculously somehow there was a drink spilled in the fader after his set when he walked off.
Where all those fucking cameras on, they can catch this motherfucker.
There didn't used to be cameers.
My
World Final set that only exists because somebody was standing in the mezzanine with their phone. There was no cameras back then,
Dude,
and so there was
sounds
others.
like a Scooby-Doo mystery. Like,
there's been like
fucking drink.
There's been all sorts of stuff like, the tone arm's fucked up. Why did it work for you but not for me? Weird stuff like that.
Sounds like a
I think I would do a little something like that.
I threw dildos at all the dudes I battled back in the day.
Whoa!
Until they told me to stop.
This is coming back into.
They were like, "Congratulations on winning. Please do not throw another one."
What do you mean? While you were spinning, you throw it at
Yeah,
him?
like had like a thing that I'd like diss people and be like, to find them and just like Miles Medina.
Like
you threw a dildo at Miles Medina.
So we played at Ruby Sky for that one in San Francisco, and
hometown too. You bold, brother.
Well, and I was the only non-San Francisco guy.
Yeah.
So I had to come.
Because I'm thinking of like a heavy ass.
Yeah.
Like
Plastic.
rubber.
Yeah.
Like
the ones that get stuck to the wall.
I mean,
No, the ones that like that feel
Like
like a
5
fucking
pounds?
yeah, they're
fucking-
kind of heavy. You can huck those things.
Hey, yo.
So
Just
Yo, son,
So-
if someone threw a dildo at me, we'd be fighting, B.
On
I'm
site.
telling you, I would just
and the
run
thing
up
is,
to the
and I
booth.
found it too. Like as like I was starting the routine, I was looking around. Like I spotted it. I saw where he was up in the mezzanine, and I was just like, beep, 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 beep.
fucking predator.
Yeah.
Would you hit him like in the chest or something? In their face?
No, I just throw it and I'd point him out, make sure everybody looks, and then I'd huck it at him. It doesn't matter.
But it
if I
didn't
actually-
hit him, right?
No, I hope not.
The crowd go crazy.
That would hurt.
That's
yeah.
crazy. Like the fucking headlight
Yeah.
just goes into him.
Yo, we be fighting. Though.
Honestly.
That shit hit me.
There was.
I'm throwing a drink right
but
back,
my
bro.
world final set was like this was back when people still kind of like thought their stuff through. World finals, I was going up against this guy Shub from Canada, and he was a DMC dude, and he was really nasty with everything like that. He was really good at disses and really good at juggles and everything. He came from like that blood sport background,
Yeah.
and I knew he was gonna go at me. There was no question, no question. And I mean, duh, of course he is. So, so I went up in the mezzanine and hung out with his parents because I was like, he's gonna call me out. He won't. He'll think I'm over here with my crew, but I went over and hung out with his mom and dad.
That's pretty
And,
low,
like,
bro.
It's kind of dope too.
Hey, and I was like,
mind
and I was
fuck.
super nice to him. I was just like, man, your son's so dope. He's so great. We're good friends. Everything's great. And then he tried to call me out, but he couldn't find me. And then then like it kind of fucked his routine up a little bit.
Ooh.
And I was just like, ooh, well, I guess I'm up next. I'll see you guys later. Nice meeting you. And then I knew exactly where he was gonna be. And mine was like, it was low. It was some low blows.
What did you do?
It was a lot of weight jokes. And but afterwards, after I won, his dad came up and was like, "You guys are some bad motherfuckers. I'm gonna buy you a drink." So like we all hung out. Like it was all fam after that.
Damn, that shit sounds like
In the spirit of competition.
Yeah, of course. But and his mom was like, "I knew he was gonna say something about you. He always does." It's like, yeah, I mean, that was how.
That's some like hit him up shit.
Yeah, but that shit, I don't feel like it really happens that much anymore. Now it's all just like the basic fuck
Because
you,
these new kids are like, they're kind of sensitive, right? They're afraid to do that shit.
You're chucking dildos, bro.
No, I just don't think that like
That's crazy
I
that you
think-
were throwing fucking dildos at people, yo.
and I had to travel with those things, so I always had to go through TSA with them.
They probably thought you were a freak.
And man, and every time I swear,
You
I
didn't
get
think of buying them
stopped.
at the like that
No,
city
I
or
didn't
something?
think about because it's like it was in my head. It was easier just to be like, well, let's
Let
go
me
to the
take
shop
7
real quick.
dildos.
There's no video of that, right? That's
I don't know.
If you have any video of Color Zack chucking some fucking dildos at people,
Yeah, I don't know.
He doesn't look proud of it. He like looks down.
No,
every
yeah,
time.
no, I'm not. I'm not. I mean,
that was 6 years ago.
in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it. You know?
I like what he's
But-
talking about. He's like, yeah, with the 2 cent legacy, you know, we definitely wanted to. I wanted to leave something behind.
So then I was
Chucking
chucking these dildos.
Chucking dildos. You should have left that behind. Shit.
Yeah, man, it was a different era. I had a different mindset. I mean, but
Crazy. I just want one picture of him like this.
chucking.
I've got one where
Oh, he gets.
That's got to be the
Actually, I
cover
don't
of the
think it's in my
mixtape.
phone.
That's just got to be the cover of this episode. Is him
Yeah.
chucking
Chucking
that
a
dildo
dildo.
at somebody. Holy fuck.
yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Anything else you did? Shit.
There had to be some beef between some people, right?
Has anybody like try to come up to you like, yo,
Overly arrogant.
you were talking wild spice?
I never understand that shit, especially in 3styles, like the arrogant guys. Like, I mean, it was fucked up. Is like you'll see it, and it's kind of messed up too when it becomes a reoccurring thing from certain countries or whatever. Like, oh, the guy from that, he's arrogant again. What's up with this? Like, what are they telling him to be like out there? Like, I don't know, it's super weird. I just don't see a place for arrogance in 3style. You know, because the whole thing's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be creating this vibe, and even if you do talk shit, it's supposed to end up being funny or like jokey. You know, like anything that I ever did in there was supposed to make you laugh. That was it. Like it was all supposed like any like disses or creative shit. It was all supposed to be fun in the name of laughter.
Yeah.
So you come in there and you try to be like, I'm the shit. It's just like, at what? Like why? You're not the shit at being a cool person, and that's like what they're looking for now. Because we all get together. It's like DJ camp, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got somebody who's not taking part of being like a nice person, there just isn't really a place for them.
That Super Bowl looked fun. That part when y'all were all watching the Super Bowl together.
Y'all with Jazzy Jeff.
I didn't get out there. That I was on a plane while that was happening.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw homie Styles chilling next to Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
Like, why is this
That shit
motherfucker
look
having
fun.
Texas back?
Big night for Jeff for sure.
Yeah.
That shit was nuts.
Anything else we want to touch on? Pause.
Shit.
We capped
We
everything?
can talk about Pioneer and other
Oh, yeah.
shit. That-
Oh, the phase is pretty dope. I noticed that. Whatever
Oh,
that's
yeah.
phase.
Did you got to fuck with some of the new technology out there, right?
I got to fuck with phase, that like needleless
Yo,
thing.
yeah, the one he
The way you-
fucking Craze was throwing up in the sky and hitting
Yeah.
the fucking fader, which is nuts.
You know,
That shit
I'm
just-
excited for that one. That one's gonna be good.
Wait, there was 2 different versions though, right?
No, it was the same version, but I think the one they had was like a white strip, and then the one we had seen previously
no, it's just like
was
the
black.
little black one.
It was like a
Yeah.
magnet or something that goes.
It looks like a Bluetooth ear set that you pull off and stick on your record, almost kind of thing. You know.
And what is it? Does it stick to the record?
I think you tape it down. I
tape
asked him
it
that
down?
too. Yeah,
When
it's
is
got
that
this little.
coming
It's
out?
got this little box. It's like that big, and then they clip in, and that charges them. So like it's always charging. So then when you pull them back off, they're fully charged. You stick them on your records, and then that Wi-Fi connects and then talks to your
Did
computer.
they tell you how long the battery life was?
No, we didn't talk about that. But
I think that was the biggest worry.
Yeah.
For some people.
yeah, I don't think it. I can't imagine it's gonna be that big of an issue. If that's a conscious thing, you know. These guys gotta do multiple hour sets.
Yeah.
If you don't have something that lasts that long, what's the point of making it?
But honestly, man, I wouldn't even mind bringing like 6 of them with me and just
Right.
changing them out every 2 hours.
Right.
That wouldn't bother me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was.
Damn,
It was
that
impressive.
sounds crazy.
It was-
As long
it
as
was
there's an
impressive.
accurate way for the face, the whatever the fuck that thing is,
The magnets.
the black thing, for the black thing to just like alert you that it's low battery,
Yeah.
that you can change it. I don't think there's a
Did
problem.
they tell you when they're gonna release them or anything like that?
Nah, I showed up late to the little thing, and then when I walked in, there was only a couple people left. So I was just like, "Oh yeah, let me see." Yep, it's as advertised.
It was good. It was pretty accurate.
Solid,
Nice.
solid. Like
Would you change into that or no?
I would buy it absolutely and
Yeah.
have it on me all the time. Absolutely.
Damn.
Wow.
Dude,
Like it's only gonna be like $200 or $300. Like,
yeah, but vinyl also like destroys the earth, bro. Like,
Yeah.
we don't need to make more vinyl.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That is true.
Let alone make more needles.
Oh yeah, that's a Shure killer right there.
Yeah.
Like game over
It's
for
a- it's a
Ortophone or
wrap.
Shure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
nuts.
it's a game over for those 12s too. The whatever the rain things.
I don't.
Missed
Have
the
you
boat
seen
on
those?
that one. I've seen him. Not in person. Craze went and used them.
What did he
and
say?
then-
To
He said they were good. He said that they're cool. They have a lot of good features.
What is this?
the Rain turntable.
It's basically like a turntable with no needle, like the record.
It looks like a big CDJ.
Yeah,
But it's a vinyl one.
That's the second. That's the
the
other
other
alternative
thing.
to
Yeah.
the phase that
Yeah.
I was talking about.
Yeah.
But it's an
Yeah.
actual machine.
yeah. But for me, it's like, I mean, what's easier to use? The clubs aren't going to buy those things. Hell no. So it's easier for DJs to buy phase and walk in. And also phase, from what I understand, is more accurate. And it's just, I mean, come on, you can put it in your backpack, you know?
Right.
And then,
God, that sucks
yeah,
for Rain.
well,
And I like the fader. I like Rain mixers.
You do?
Yeah.
ugh, gross.
Whoa.
They tried, I showed up in LA, or was it LA? Yeah, in LA, and they mistakenly put a 62 up there.
Because you had a 62 for a long time.
Yeah, gave it away. And then,
That hurts my heart.
yeah,
Ring mixes are. They've been
sound-
awful for a while.
They sound like shit, too.
You guys like Pioneer more?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you when Rain was good. Rain was good when they were actually
57?
making those big. No. That was crap. They were all crap. They
No,
were,
I like 57s and
no, I'm talking
56s.
about Rain when Rain was making club mixes
Like
with
the
like the
rotary
knobs
mixers?
and the rotary. That was the best quality sound you ever heard.
Yeah. Well, when the whatever 50, what was the first one?
52?
If it was a 52, the first one,
The
the no
54.
Serato thing. I mean, all of those, they were changing the game because Vestax had gone away, and the only game in town, like even Pioneer stopped doing the, what was it, 909 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
When they sort of stopped doing those, and Rain was like, they were fulfilling the need, you know,
void.
like that was that needed.
But
to
it wasn't
happen.
like it was a good product. It was just there.
Well, it was good because there was no alternative. It was like, this is great, you know. And then as things started developing, as other things came out, you realize, well, shit, maybe I was turning a blind eye to how bad this sounds and how this fader feels.
And
or
then
like,
when that Pioneer came out, it was just
Game over.
chinking.
The 800,
yeah.
Or I mean, 800, 900, Nexus 2, whatever, all that stuff that started coming out, I was like, oh, and then they came out with the S9, and to me that was just it. Like, yep. S9.
They did the new Rain is what I forget which 72. That shit looks like a lot of shit combined.
Yeah, well, they also only have pre-fader effects on that right now. When have you, as a DJ, ever used a pre-fader effect where you hit echo on a record and you cut the fader off and the echo stops? Like, that you've got to be.
I need this shit to keep going.
Who sat in that room and thought that was a good idea? Like, they blew it on that.
Someone helped us design that shit.
No, not really, because they're. I mean, I'm not going to name names or whatever, but the way that they do their products, they don't really ask for opinions that much. They're very like inclusive, so they work within their group of tech people. I've worked with them before, like long time ago, but no time recently, and it was a whole different crew before they got bought out. But they're very like, we're building this product. They're like tech guys. This technically is really efficient, and then they bring it out to people who would actually use it, and then everyone starts talking.
To this day, I only think, like, I thought Vestax mixers were crap. I thought they were shit. The only mixer that I thought was amazing was the Technique one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think I didn't have another mixer that was just as good till the Pioneer came out.
Yeah.
That Technique mixer that fader was butter. That was the best fader to this day.
So you guys all use like the 8 and 900s and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the clubs.
That's the standard.
I mean, I guess it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Radio has a S9, which I love the heaviness of the fader on the S9.
Yeah, and you can adjust it
Y'all
too.
trying to make me jump ship, man.
Well, here's the other thing too is, and I have a lot of conversations about this, is for a while I was like, screw it, I'm going to force myself to learn the Pioneer 8, 900, whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to be in the club. When I get there, I don't have to change anything. I don't have to special request anything. I'm playing on what everybody else is playing on. And that's why I actually wanted to switch to CDJs for a minute, because I thought, depending on the situation I'm in, if I'm going up against, DJ Dubstep, I want to play on the exact same setup as them so that they see what's possible. And so there's no question of like, oh, well, he had special equipment. Like, no. I just want to even playing field. Just let me get up there real quick and I'll do my thing, you do your thing, and we'll just see how it all pans out. But then the reality is, if I'm on that 800 or 900, I got to bring some little launch paddy thing, and then it just looks all silly. I just don't want something in front of me. I just want the mixer, so S9.
What MIDI player you used to use? MIDI controller, sorry.
The MPD, that like Akai looking thing, the Akai thing, but that was so heavy, and then the SP1 came out for Pioneer, and that was just like little. So I do that.
So you see my laptop.
I see. Yes, I do.
Jack the fuck up.
The keys all fucked up.
It's impressive how destroyed your laptop keys are.
You see the one? The one is gone, bro. It's
broken in half.
Yeah. If you ever go see Crooked and you have the chance to get close to his laptop, look at that fucking laptop.
Tangled.
I feel like you guys are looking at a rash in my ass crack or something. Look how fucked up that rash is.
Nah, bro, that's just.
You see that one that's bleeding? The blood is rolling down the crack of his ass.
I've seen Cricket DJ for a long time, and every time he slams on that one, I'm just like, God damn, poor fucking button.
Well,
I'm not coordinated. That's why I have to put more force on it.
It seems to be working for you.
One thing I want to talk to you about: how much thought you get into the whole tone play shit. Because you're pretty mean at that shit. And if you do it anymore at all?
It's. I wish that I didn't, but sometimes I'll just think of one and be like, well, I'll do that. It's like it was fun to figure out in the first place and to like kind of help present or whatever. And then it's just, people see it as like, oh, so I got to do that to win Thre3style? Okay, I'll do it too. And then typically people are terrible at it.
Yeah.
And it sounds awful and it ruins the vibe, and it's just like, that's gross. So for the people who do it really well, great, keep it up. For the people that don't, let's just let it die. And
yeah, because when we had Stone and Graham, you told them, well, you guys kind of invented it or whatever.
I mean, there's been people doing it since like the late 80s,
Yeah.
Or not, well, maybe that's like 8 Ball, whatever. Was that late 80s or that early 90s in DMCs? And he would do that shit with like a, you know, there's a lot of different ways it's been around. But like with Stone and Graham, they were doing stuff where it was like the conceptual style of it, where they would just like fuck shit up, and it would be, it's like the early idea of it, you know? It was just the smarts, and it kept the vibe going. And to me, like, if people could do it even as well as they did it back then cool. But, you know, when you start bringing out like a full-on keyboard or something, and you're just like, you know, it's just...
Oh, the machine fucking thing, all the buttons.
I mean, and believe me, I get that it takes talent and everything. It takes a lot of time and effort, but maybe I'm just kind of burned on it. Yeah. So personally, like, I'll do it every once in a while, and I'll come up with a new one every so often. I feel like every couple months I gotta do a new one just to show, like.
Because I like the ones you've done. You have a whole like 5-minute video of just doing them all, and they're pretty fucking dope. I should put a real like that DJ City one. That was so old and weird. I should put like a real. I just put them all to rest and never have to do them again. Just do them all in a row. Yeah. But
that'll be good.
Yeah, I enjoy those shits.
It's kind of what Seinfeld did, right? Seinfeld put out like a Netflix special on all this old shit because he still wants it kind of like categorized, like out there. You know what I mean?
It's just tough because you rarely see it done to a point where somebody who's seen it a lot enjoys it. They're just kind of like, here it comes. Yep, I get it. But if it's done right, you're like, oh shit,
crazy,
good job. But I don't know. I'd take a step back. I bounce back and forth between being optimistic and cynical about every 5 or 6 seconds. So, you know, it's like on one hand I'm just like, yeah, if you like it, push forward, keep doing it, and then the next second when I'm coming down off coffee, I'm just like, I don't even want to hear music anymore. So you got to kind of like catch me on my roller coaster, and I'm full of contradictions.
Wait, not to go back about my broken keyboard laptop.
Yeah. You gotta buy a new
You should do a whole podcast on that, because I just don't know how you do it.
It's
that's just nuts.
Do you put on like press on nails before you go out to like?
No, he slams, bro. Do
you remember the old Gemini samplers, the 12-second samplers with the big circle dish? I used to make beats off of that, and the only way you could really get it on is hitting it really aggressively hard.
Pause.
Yeah, get it on.
Talk that shit
real aggressively hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was such a big button.
Hey yo. So that's kind of the same thing I did here. So I just hit these really, really hard, and then they end up cracking. But
I think Rockcon told me about that a long time ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask, what's a good, whatever those fucking gay sequence
because he wanted to do dicers.
No, I don't want to do dicers. I feel like the biggest.
You said what, the PS1?
SP1?
SP1.
You know what would be dope,
Pioneer.
I think?
PS1 is a DJ. He's a good DJ.
It would be dope if to take an SP1 and like put it off to the side. To me, that would be like the flex of like nothing's in front of you, because I don't know. I just don't like having a laptop in front for some reason. It just bothers, like, or even a MIDI pad. It just, something in front of me just bugs me a little bit. So if, like, to me, the flex would be like having it just right there, like crooked off to the side of the turntable. And that way or whatever your dominant hand is. And that way you could just, is right there.
I need something in like front of me. I'm not coordinated like that.
Or, yeah, well.
So get the S9.
The S9.
Carry around the S9.
What was that shit?
SP1.
The SP1?
It's great, because then all you do is you just one USB in and you just, boom, right there.
Okay.
And get a new laptop too while you're at it too. Because that shit is fucked.
Still burning.
One day.
The thing is, it's a brand new laptop. It's a new age one, but it's fucking slammed on that keyboard.
No, I don't want to get the new one because I'm afraid that the new laptops aren't. They
durable.
Can't. No. They can't use the Serato
Scratch
DJ
Live.
and Scratch Live.
It works with everything now. I just talked to them about that. Yeah.
Okay.
And
because he had a meltdown that we talked about on the text.
Oof. Yeah, I had a bad couple days leading up to before the Dream Tour. It was like my whole library just froze and shut down. Serato wouldn't even read any of it.
Was it Scratch Live or Serato DJ?
Serato DJ. I don't even know if I still have Scratch Live.
So you use Serato DJ, you don't use Scratch Live?
Never.
Am I an idiot that I still use Scratch Live?
He uses Scratch Live.
Well, you use an SP9, so you don't have any choice, right? Because it's not compatible with Scratch Live anyway.
I don't think that it is.
Yeah. So, but I'm still on Scratch Live.
Yeah, I mean, if it works for you, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Who cares?
My only thing, remember that little bar on the top, the one with the lines connect, and you can see what BPM is like connecting or whatever? That one line on top of Scratch Live.
I think you can do that in the view.
Okay, I didn't know. That's the only reason why I wouldn't jump to Serato.
No, you can change the view.
Yeah, they changed.
Yeah.
Somebody.
I was DJing with another DJ I won't say his name, but I was DJing like after him or before him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom," and he's like, "Can you play a couple songs?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Already horrified. DJing on somebody else's laptop, like wearing somebody else's socks.
It's actually fun.
Scary.
Have you ever done it?
Yeah, it's scary for me because
super fun.
Why is it fun and why is it scary?
Oh, it's dope. It's because you get to see like, you know, you're using someone's library. It just changes your frame of thinking because you'll automatically go to one song, they don't have it. Oh, they got a different version.
Exactly.
And then like, let me
Proving
find
my
something
point.
else.
Yeah.
But
Cue
it's
points
fun.
are different.
Yeah, cue points are different. Whew. So it's kind of fun and dangerous. I don't know how to explain.
You're like playing with it's like
Crooked's
Russian
over here
roulette.
having an affair, a laptop affair.
Yeah, like, let me break the number one.
I remember
He comes back. What have you done?
we used to do that a lot, actually, back like when I first moved to Vegas, like 2006, 2007. Like if he showed up, I'd be like, "Yo," he'd just get on.
That's dope.
And it would be like and that was dope to see like different dudes rock the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So like if Five came through, if Rock the Con was there, like Rock the Con would get on, and he'd play like 6 songs, and then Five would get on, and I would get on. It was just like this kind of boys club.
Does that not happen now because it just doesn't happen, or because the club doesn't want you to?
I don't know.
Huh.
I think
that's cool.
I think because it was dope. I think the dynamic changed when AM passed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think there was like, it could be a couple of things. It was, I think it was more of a like, there was more pressure on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
A lot of money on the line.
I think it was more pressure and there was more money on the line.
You're afraid you're not going to get that call back or something if something goes wrong.
It was a little bit more open, like in 2005, 6, 7. It was a little bit more open, and then the music started shifting a little bit. But I mean, like, it was like, I don't. You know what? That's a good question. I'm gonna look into that because that used to be like an ongoing thing, and I don't know if it's just that we got older and we were just like, nah, I don't want to DJ. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're like, you know,
yeah. Do you think now people are hungry enough that they want every minute of their set? You mean?
like if I was 30 or 28, be like, yo, you want to get on? Yeah, fuck it, let me get on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When I'm with Darren, he's like, "Yo, I'm going to the bathroom." I hope he takes a long time just so I can throw the next record on. I'm like, I'm already looking for a song.
If Darren turned to me and said, "Can you play a couple songs?" I'd be like, "Come on, man, really?"
And I'm like,
I think I might be the same way.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
No,
Yeah, don't put that pressure on me. I'm trying to chill. It's my night off.
I'm older, like I don't want to do that shit.
And I'm different. I be having like a song load up for him. I'm like, "Yo, play that next." He's like, "Not a bad
It's
record."
definitely an age thing, I think.
Probably also has a lot to do with how faded you are too, though.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, let me get on.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
No, but it's a good time.
I'm actually curious about all that. Like, I mean, you guys. I feel like you guys are in the hotbed of what is acceptable for club DJing down here. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't think people quite get. I think a lot of people don't understand the type of like the anxiety that people must go through coming into the market. Because I remember when I first came down here, it was just like, oh, I'm not prepared for this. I had no idea what was expected of me, and like that's actually why I listen to the podcast, is because I like when you guys talk about the dynamics of the inside perspective of the Vegas clubs. Because I think that people don't really quite get. They think it's all glamorous and everything. They think it's like you've made it once you get down here. They think that once you get in, you're set. I mean, I just like hearing.
The one thing, there's a couple rules out here. Number one, never announce a residency because you don't know what's gonna happen. Like a new club, like never open a new club. Never be the DJ that's the resident and announce your new residency at a new club because there could be all types of marketing problems with a new club, but they are not going to blame the marketing team. They are going to blame the DJ. So a lot of motherfuckers would announce their residency at a new club, really good DJs, and they would lose their residency after 2 weeks.
Just because the club's not
popping. And that's an L. That's a fucking significant L. When you announce some shit, that's worse than a Thre3style, like what you were saying.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like, yo, you got the, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you got pulled, yo.
Yeah.
So like, that's one thing you never do. A new club, if you start it out, keep it low. Keep it like, yo, I'm over here. You know, it's not a residency. I got a night there. You know what I'm saying? So, because you never know what's going on. There's so much politics. There's so much ego. There's so many people to please in Vegas. The high rollers, the crowd, the owners, the whatever, the promoters. and then you just don't know what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. But we used to there used to be a couple DJs that used to open new clubs, and we just knew after those DJs got shifted out, the next round of whatever was the next round of DJs, you knew whether that club was gonna survive or not. Because if it was if you try to put Team A in there and the club didn't survive, and then you got Team D in there, then it's a wrap. It's kind of you're yo, how do you go from here and then go down to these motherfuckers and
that makes sense.
It's a wrap. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. It's the same thing as that you'll see on the road. You'll see clubs bringing in certain type of talent, a certain rotation, and you'll get used to that level of rotation. And the second they're well, we kind of took a step back and we're booking a lot of these guys, or these younger guys who are locals will play for a lot less, and it's that's cool. That's seeing the funny pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah. I mean, the politics of it, I'm definitely interested in. I've always wanted to have the hard line to all the dirt on all that. Early on, I think it may have even been around the time I started doing Tao. I had a guy who we all know say to me, so when you want to, first of all, well, he said to me, if you want to make it in this business, and what he meant by this business was bottle service, if you're going to make it in this business, you need to go out on your night off and go to every single club and go up to the tables and introduce yourself at the tables and say, I'm DJ so-and-so, and I just hope you have a good night, and buy him a drink maybe, and go to every club and meet the music director and introduce yourself. And I was like, fuck you. It's if some motherfucker came up to me at a club when I'm trying to chill and they tried to come out here with suit and tie on and introduce themselves, I'd be wrong fucking way to do it, man. And so, I remember it was also the way he delivered that little speech to me. It was just very much well, there's the difference right there, I did not like that.
Well, I would say
and I get for a lot of people that works.
Yeah,
everyone's got their own style.
A lot of that's really hard to navigate. The one thing I was horrible at is having a bunch of people in the DJ booth and having conversations with them and talk with them while I'm DJing.
You're doing stuff, yeah.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a talented DJ where I'm coordinated and I could scratch and I could do all of these things. I have to really, really fucking focus on what's the next song, how am I gonna play it, and I don't know. I really give it up to these DJs that can Instagram themselves, talk with somebody, and do it. And you know what? Five is a really talented DJ, and he's really good at juggling that marketing side. And he's also one of the coolest cucumbers. A fucking manager can come up to him, frantic and yelling, and Five would be he's in that. He's done Tao for many years now. He's had many people come up to him, yelling at him, saying, "Do this, do that, do this, do that." He's got a really funny Nicki Minaj story that's fucking hilarious. That hopefully one day we'll have Five on here and he'll tell it. But I mean, he's just really calm, and that's what, honestly, we've talked about this before. That's when you're ready to be a Vegas DJ, or that's when you're gonna get really tested. Is when you got to juggle all of that bullshit.
Yeah, special skills.
How do you not drink and how do you be sober when
can you imagine
the owner of the club comes in let's do a shot? You're I don't drink.
I never got it either. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or this guy just sent you a bottle of champagne, or this table is doing this, or you gotta really navigate through everything and shit. It's crazy.
Yep.
That's the real the thing about doing the Vegas clubs.
Yeah. I think the only way that I've ever made it work is just by doing a lot of different stuff. I love playing in Vegas clubs. I love playing in different bottle service clubs and playing to that style of room. I also love going and doing showcase sets. I love playing basement parties and weird stuff.
But you've established your name to a certain point where it grants you a certain amount of freedom and respect.
Somehow, I don't know how, but somehow, yes, I did.
It's not somehow. You've done it. Yeah. You've done a good job of it.
I will say that we were talking about this earlier. I think that's why I haven't had to go through the really deep, muddy waters of what can happen in a Vegas club.
Right.
I get I'm there because they appreciate my angle on things, and so I hope. I'll tell you, I'm obviously not there because I'm bringing in mad people. I'll have fans or whatever, but I'm not gonna like sell out every table. I'm not gonna, but it'll be different, you know. And I think as long as they respect the angle,
but I also think that's an odd
cool.
angle. That it's kind of like I was talking to my boy about it before. I said, wow, these fucking nightclubs got lazy because they're booking DJs to bring fucking people. They're trying to book acts.
That's a
book
lot
people.
of. That's how LA is. Like you got to be able to sell X amount of tickets, or you can't DJ.
Well, it's more like, yo, we've got. What are we gonna do? We're gonna come up with clever marketing and have a good marketing strategy, or we have an unlimited Vegas bank account, and we're just gonna throw money at these dudes that are gonna attract people. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of the difference that we were talking about. Like, and that's why the backbone of any nightclub is actually the resident DJ. It's the DJ who's like keeping people there till 4 a.m. And sometimes they don't notice that shit, and they've got to notice it. You know what I mean? Someone's got to notice that shit, and then for that, that's why you're getting booked, Zach. Because in the end, you know, you are keeping people there and creating a vibe. I'm sure that these clubs have run through a bunch of DJs, and there's, you know, if they're landing on you, there's got to be a fucking reason why. Not just for the fact of your name that you've established, but the job that you do. Because there's a lot of motherfuckers with a name that can't do the job.
They just wanted Diplo, and they just had to settle for the cheaper blonde guy.
Yeah.
Like, from far away, they might squint.
Well, first of all, you're not as beautiful as Diplo. I'll give you that one.
Boy, he must have a lot of time in his day to work out and shit.
I mean, yeah.
Anything else?
Anything we got to touch on?
We covered a bunch. Yeah.
Covered a bunch.
You already talked about enough dicks for you to pause at this fucking rate.
What are you talking about, man?
He jerking off, throwing dildos.
I'm not throwing dildos at the fucking crowd, man.
Traveling with dildos.
I wish I could say it was a one-time thing.
I wonder if TSA just was like, yo.
Oh, yeah.
Who is this prostitute?
And the funny thing, too, was my girl was with me traveling at that moment. And she was coming through security next, and they're looking at my bag, and I look over at her, and they look at me, and they look at her, and they're just like, push the bag back across the table, like, or whatever.
Wow. That is hilarious.
Imagine just seeing the bunch of, like, just dicks on the fucking screen.
What colors were they?
Oh, man. Just the palest of pink. I mean, would you have rather me just gone for like the deep dark chocolate one, or like
just different shades would have been hilarious.
I needed it to be able to like I needed it to be seen in a dark club.
I'm trying to think what would piss me off more. If the color of the dildo would piss me off, that hit me in my face. Yeah.
You're not even black.
I think the pink. You can see the pink coming.
What are you talking about?
It's basically, will the white dick or the black dick hit in my face piss me off more?
Did you think about any glow in the dark situation here? You're like, yo.
I wanted it to be a little bit gross, and I figured fleshy would be gross enough. You know,
they were a little wet too. That would be gross.
Poured Red Bull all over him before I hucked him.
Advertising and shit. That's crazy, yo.
Yo, that's one of the most insane things I've ever heard.
That's really fucking vicious, bro. No, it's just fucking sad.
I was doing it. Oh shit, I'm trying to remember the routine. So it was there was a lead in. So there was a song that I would lead in.
I gotta know. Yeah, you gotta tell us the routine.
The routine was, what was the lead in song? It was something about, do you want this? Do you want that? And I'd be referencing the DJ that I'm talking about. Do you want this? Do you want that? And then
is it Black Sheep?
No. And then I would bring in. It was probably some 70 BPM thing. And then I would bring in. I'd like pause, and then I'd bring in that old booty bass song. How about some dick? How about some dick? And then I'd drop halftime drop pony under it, and then just. How about some dick? Ride my pony and hook a thing, and then I'd do a little thing out of it.
How was the crowd reaction? Crazy?
Yeah, they liked it.
A lot of jaw drop. I would have been like,
well, because it was like the whole like theatrics thing, sort of. You know, that was probably the only time I could have gotten away with it. If someone were to do it now, everyone would have been like, "Fuck this guy." But like back then, it was working because nobody was doing anything theatrical. People were still a little bit confused by what the battle was in a lot of markets, you know? And so they needed that little, like, low blow to kind of pause. to
low blow.
Plus, with all the cameras and everything, it's very PG-13 right now, right?
Yeah, now if you saw that, you'd just be like, dude,
why'd you take it there?
Whoa, yeah.
There's kids watching. There's that little kid from Australia, I think. He's always at these things. K-Swiss. Mm-hmm. And he's always at, but he's a kid, like 12, and he's pretty talented.
I think he's like 14, 15, isn't he?
I don't know how old he's.
But
he's a young kid. Imagine just
the youth.
4 Color Zack just chucking dildos in front of him.
Yo.
At him.
No, whoa.
Crazy. What if
We
he
love
hung that
K-Swiss.
shit up on his wall? Like, yo, 4 Color Zack gave me that shit. Threw that shit
Still
at my
have
face.
the bruise.
Took a picture. No, that's too much. No, K-Swiss is a nice, talented kid.
One last thing. If there was one DJ in the Thre3style battle that didn't win or didn't get noticed, is there anyone we should check out? Or any ones?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And don't feel offended if he doesn't mention your name. Just saying. That you're like, yo, that motherfucker needs to be checked out.
Damn, let me think. Well, oof.
Damn, this one's tough.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what had happened. So I'm trying to remember the politics of it all. I think Scene should have won the year he was in because I thought he could have taken it way crazy far. I think he was in the perfect momentum, and I think it would have altered his career. Mm-hmm. He could have made that opportunity work way better for him and brought it to a bigger platform had he taken the W on that
to this day, I think Scene is one of the best nightclub scratches I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. Where it's very aggressive.
It is aggressive and like
it's fucking sharp. It's like you feel the energy and the weight. Like I hate lazy scratches like like even transformed like crabbing shit. His like fuck. It's just like I'm like I like it.
Like machine gun.
I get stunned a little bit. I'm like, yo, man.
It's hard to follow. When we were on tour together, it was like, whoa, shit. Like,
it's not a lazy scratch.
No, there's nothing lazy about his sets.
Yeah,
like it's sharp as shit too. Damn, I think everyone should go take a second look at Shintaro now. He's a world champ, but he's developed so much since he won that he's just dripping in style. That he's like he's from Japan. Moment. He's like, this dude has his own lane now. He's just like funky. So that's cool to see. It's cool to see how people develop outside of it. Like he won, and then after that he found his own way. You know?
He's not the one that was in the Goldie Awards against Miles Medina, right?
No.
Because that dude was crazy.
No. That was a DMC guy, I think.
I don't know, but that guy was nuts.
What do you call these dudes? You guys aren't turntablists. Are they?
Yeah,
they are.
People say that. I don't know why anybody would call me that because I'm just kind of like, I just cringe. All those like real DJing things, turntablists, everything. I don't know why I cringe about it because I know technically it's not a diss, but I'm just kind of like, no, just like, don't say that because then I don't know. I feel like there's so much negative baggage that comes with good
it's
like
limiting,
real DJing
right?
and
it's
everything.
limiting. That's why.
Yeah.
Because it boxes you into something that you're like, I don't want to be boxed into this. I want to just be me.
If you tell, let's just say you're telling like a buyer, oh, you should check out this DJ. He's a turntablist. How many people are going to go like, I don't think we need a turntablist in here, you know? Mm-hmm. Like they have a preconceived notion about what that means. Like, oh, does that mean he's going to ruin the floor? Does that mean he's not going to be mindful? Is he going to be super selfish and cut all the time? Or like, what's his deal?
I mean, I think it's the guy that who you'd want to do your birthday.
I just think that the term turntablist and the term real DJing, whatever, it needs to be updated completely. Or
who still does that?
What?
They hashtag real DJ?
Fuck, more people than you'd expect.
Really?
And I say it like, I know I piss people off when I say it because they'll always be like, I just saw Zach last night, hashtag real DJing. I was like, oh, I hate that hashtag. And they're just like,
but thanks for coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I don't mean it as poorly as it sounds. I just think that it brings a lot of like old heady baggage along with it.
You ever seen Band of Brothers?
No.
The HBO show?
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Well, it just reminds me of like the guys who've been through the war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the guys who just came and they're ready to kill some motherfuckers. They're like, yo, I can't wait to kill these Nazis. And the guys who have killed Nazis for the past 6 months are like, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Like, I've seen friends die. I've seen a lot of shit.
Yeah, that might be it.
It's kind of like that. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You have this false idealism of what DJing is. Mm-hmm. And when you really get down to it, you know, that's not what it's about. And it's actually, there's a lot of other shit going in it. There's like, there's DJs who undercut. There's a bunch of like shady ass fucking people out there.
Yep.
And honestly, the reason why we survived is because because of luck and how much bullshit we can endure. To be honest with you, there's actually a DJ that I'm gonna bring on here one day. I won't say his name yet, but he's one of those dudes that basically hopped out because he couldn't deal with the bullshit. He couldn't deal with the politics. But he became a very talented and successful producer. So he shifted off.
Oh.
Yeah.
See all these quotables. That's why you ended up on the mix. Listen to this guy and his quotables. That. You just solidified my point so much better than I was trying to.
2 cents, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
But I gotta commend you because Zach came here. His motherfucker's tired. He's hungover. He's got a DJ tonight. He's got to go to another gig tomorrow. And I really appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man.
For real,
Thank
man.
you guys for having me.
It's those things. It's things like this that really make me have hope for our industry of DJing and the motherfuckers in the craft.
Yep.
So thank you, man.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks for having
it.
me. Woo.
Thank you, man.
And y'all can catch the whole video interview or podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, we've been a little late with the YouTube shit because we're still kind of figuring out exactly how much we want to show because we're on camera saying dick and dildos and shit.
Yeah.
And
Jamie's over here doing this.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was his ass, yo.
You did it.
Yeah. So we're just debating on whether we should edit or just
but
some things are just better left said than seen.
Yeah, just subscribe and hit that notification little bell on the top.
But just give us some time. We're still figuring out, so we're putting shit up, and we're gonna try to put up some older ones.
We just put up the Shecky one.
Shecky's up there. That's a really good one, but our camera's cut off in the last hour.
Yeah, I didn't get the DJ AM parts. And what else? We got the Black Panther one that's coming up.
Franzen, we should bring out again.
They're requesting the Franzen one.
And Scooter too.
Scooter as well.
I want to put up the video for Graham Funk and Stone, but it was shot so horribly. It was
no pun intended. I mean, no disrespect.
We gave this kid a couple $100, and he just did not know what the fuck he was doing. So
it was so bad.
Sounds like the guy you always let use your phone at the club. Was it the same guy?
No, some other cat. But no, yeah. Check us out. This video will be up. Anything else you want to plug? Zach?
No, not really.
No, but you said you're working on a production album, though, huh?
Oh, I mean, yeah, we've been producing a lot of stuff. We got a new single coming out. We got a bunch of stuff in the bag that's
ready to go.
Yeah, we got a ton of stuff.
I want to hear that.
Yeah,
I'll send you.
I like that. All right.
Peace out.
Peace.